Chapter 414. Just as he was hesitating, the phone suddenly stopped ringing. The bureau chief was in a dilemma again. Should I call back? His hesitation did not last more than 5 minutes. His personal phone rang first. The bureau chief had a total of 3 mobile phones. One was specially used to contact his family, one was used to contact his subordinates at work, and the last one was used 24 hours a day to contact his boss and some people that he absolutely could not ignore. The phone that rang at this time was the one that he could not ignore. It showed an unfamiliar number, but at this special time, it was self-evident who was calling. After the call was connected, the person on the other side of the phone chatted briefly. However, the bureau chief hung up the phone in fear and looked out of the window with a blank face. In the depths of his heart, he was confused, hollow, and perplexed. What was wrong with this world? The person who called just now was the top leader of Sichuan province. Although they were both in the same system, the difference in status between the two was too big. A mere bureau chief of the Jiangyuan district was not qualified to save the number of the top leader. The other party's intention was obvious. The moment he opened his mouth, he asked if he had detained a student named Qin Guang in the bureau. At this point, how could the bureau chief dare to lie? He could only honestly admit it. After that, the most powerful person in Sichuan province only said, "From now on, protect the person well, and don't let anything unpleasant happen again." He would immediately bring Wu Shan with him. If anything happens to Qin Guang, the responsibility is all on you. The bureau chief of the Jiangyuan district did not understand what was going on. It was obviously just a game between Wu Shan and Su Lijing. Wu Shan had already explained the specific arrangements to him. Qin Guang was also very cooperative. Even the young man performed the bitter flesh countdown with great effort. He was really a good young man with a heart of justice. But why would Jiang Yage get involved? Why would Jiang Yage so decisively contact the influential figure in Sichuan province after failing to get through on the phone? In fact, Wu Shan himself was also at a loss. When he received the call, he also did not know what had happened. However, the tone of the colleague on the other side of the phone was very anxious, as if he was more worried about Qin Guang's safety than himself. Wu Shan couldn't help but think of Su Lijing's conjecture that he had once mocked. Could it be that Qin Guang was really that old man's grandson? But that was impossible. For a child raised by that kind of family, whether he hid his identity or not, it was impossible for him to be willing to take the initiative to get involved in a storm like dealing with Su Lijing. Even if he really wanted to deal with someone, he would not do it himself. Instead, he would have other means. There was no need for him to do something that was taboo and made people nervous. "Secretary Ma, what's going on?" Wu Shan asked as they sat in the same car. Ma, who was nearly 60 years old, shook his head. "Don't ask me. I don't know what's going on either. I just got the news. Someone from above told me to go to the Jiangyuan district branch immediately and personally investigate the matter regarding the student named Qin Guang. I'm afraid something big is going to happen," Secretary Ma said and pointed to the roof of the car. For him and Wu Shan, it was self-evident that he could continue to use the 2 words, "above." Wu Shan gasped. Could it be that that student is? Secretary Ma shook his head. "Don't let your imagination run wild. He is not the old man's descendant. In short, we have to figure out the problem. We can't let him be wronged." It was like killing a chicken with a butcher's knife. However, the situation was too sudden, and the tone of the person who gave the order seemed to be very anxious, so he had no choice but to pay attention to it. He put down what he was doing and rushed here overnight. On the way, his secretary called. "Secretary Ma, something happened on the internet." "What's the matter? Make it short. Do you think the trivial things on the internet are worth telling me?" Secretary Ma frowned. At this time, he was not in the mood to care about the rumors on the internet. He couldn't help but feel unhappy. Someone has spread a lot of groundless rumors on the internet. They are related to the vice president of Gokyo University, Su Lijing. The situation is serious, and it has caused a lot of repercussions. Do you think we should? All right. We will deal with it the way we dealt with it in the past. Although Su Lijing has a high administrative rank, he belongs to the education system. He is the main leader of a university directly under the ministry. We should not interfere too much. Secretary Ma hung up the phone and said to the driver in front. Hurry up. Chen Guang was lying quietly on the bed. His face was burning. He raised the mirror in his hand and saw his bruised and swollen face. He grimaced slightly and affected his wounds. If he had known that using the Kirin arm on his face would cause such terrible damage, he would have worn gloves on his fists. The wind and rain outside should have started blowing. Su Lijing, you can easily kill an almighty Superman who is only a Weibo celebrity. Then, if I replace him with thousands of fake reviewers, how are you going to cover up the truth? Do you have the ability to paralyze the internet? Of course you can't do it, so you can't stop me. Sister Shirue, I want to go to the 5 capitals. Don't stop me. Jiang Yage threw things angrily. The expensive blue and white porcelain vase was smashed to the ground by her slap, breaking into pieces. Jean Shirue opened her hands and stood in front of the door, blocking Jiang Yage. Yage, calm down. Things are definitely not as simple as you think. What do you mean by not as simple as I think? Jiang Yage was anxious. Sister Shirue, are you muddle-headed? Don't you understand the way these people do things? Chen Guang started a war on the internet, and now he's been dragged into it. Who knows what will happen to him? You want me to calm down? Can I calm down? But even if we go to the 5 capitals now, we won't make it in time. And I feel that this matter isn't that simple. A few days ago, he crazily increased the popularity of that almighty Superman account, and then when the popularity reached its peak, he suddenly released a bomb. Can he not think of the consequences? Jean Shirue thought more deeply than Jiang Yage. Jiang Yage was stunned at first, but immediately felt that Jean Shirue's analysis was reasonable. The Chen Guang in her impression was not someone who would only do stupid things. Sister Shirue, you mean to say that he deliberately exposed himself first so that Su Lijing could find trouble with him? Yes. Jean Shirue nodded. But I've already called Uncle Ma, using Grandpa's name. Jiang Yage said. This won't ruin his plans, right? Jean Shirue was dumbfounded. You little girl, why don't you understand the situation first before making a decision? Aren't you too concerned about him? Jiang Yage became bashful. Moreover, he wrote that Wang Lin is so evil and wicked. I'm afraid that something will happen to him. Jean Shirue sighed. Forget it. Since he's already said it, why don't we just repost his long article? Anyway, Uncle Ma has already passed away. There's no need to worry about his safety. Since he wants to do this, I believe that what he wrote is true. This Wang Lin deserves it. Let's just add fuel to the fire. Don't be fooled by Jean Shirue's calm demeanor. In the end, her words were also shocking. Jiang Yage's eyes lit up. But half an hour ago, Zhuo Jingxi sat at home restlessly. Her fingers were tapping on the mouse and keyboard, and her eyes were a little confused. In the living room, Fan Lingshan had been pacing back and forth for almost half an hour. Lingshan, hurry and sit down. Don't worry, your brother will have a way. Didn't he say a few days ago that we shouldn't think about anything and not care about anything? Since he's making a move, he'll definitely be well prepared. Hua Ling was dazzled by Fan Lingshan's pacing and could not help but say that. Fan Lingshan sat down with a sad face. But even the almighty Superman's Weibo account has been blocked. Really, why didn't he say anything? He didn't even let me call him. Look, someone reposted the news again. Someone who was fiddling with Weibo on her phone suddenly shouted. What? Zhuo Jingxi and the other 2 came over to take a look. In the end, before they could open the specific content, the Weibo post that had just popped up was blocked. That's too fast. Hua Ling cursed. Zhuo Jingxi sat back in front of the computer and refreshed the page. She also shouted, It's out again. I have it here again. What's going on? I think Shen Guang said that he planned to spend money to hire fake reviewers. These are the fake reviewers he hired? So powerful? I can't even delete all of them? Zhong Yu asked. I think so? The other 3 said in unison, but they were not very sure. They really wanted to call Chen Guang, but unfortunately, They did not dare to contact him due to Chen Guang's instructions a few days ago. It was really distressing. The four of them simply gathered in front of the computer and watched Zhuo Jingxi refresh the page again and again. As expected, the fake reviewers from the previous money and human dispelling disaster were not to be trifled with. The fake reviewers Lu Fei found were extremely professional. At least tens of millions of accounts posted at the same time. Moreover, the pattern of these long posts was not the same. Instead, they were mixed with many subtle changes. The Weibo officials could not even block them in time based on the keywords. Seeing that the news on the internet was becoming more and more lively, it was gradually getting out of control. The four girls were so excited that they were dancing. On the other side, Su Li was pacing back and forth in the living room. He was in a terrible state. He had already brought Wang Lin back from the hospital. In the afternoon, he heard that a group of young people who looked like students had come to the hospital. They looked fierce and wanted to find Wang Lin by name. They said that they wanted to seek justice for Ding Lu's death. These people were really not arranged by Chen Guang. In this world, there were still some young people with a strong sense of justice. Perhaps it was because Chen Guang's long post was too touching, or perhaps it was because Ding Lu's experience was too tragic, or perhaps it was because this group of young people was at the age where they were hot-blooded and impulsive. They did not know what they could really do by coming together. Perhaps they just wanted to point at Wang Ren's nose and give him a good scolding. After all, this was a society ruled by law. It was impossible to take someone's life for no reason. They came in a threatening manner, but in the end, they did not even see the person. Chapter 415. However, Su Lijing was still worried, so he simply brought Wang Lin back. But from tonight onwards, Su Lijing realized that something was wrong. News came from Lilai County. It was said that as soon as the local court subpoena was issued, Chen Guang's father, Chen Guoli, quickly auctioned off the original installment of compensation. Chen Guoli was not a nobody in the local area who could be bullied by anyone. In a small place like Lilai, the roots were complicated. The smaller the place, the more ruthless the gangsters were. Chen Guoli had already paid the debt. If he still wanted to cause trouble for him, he would have to think twice. The people in Lilai County were not that easy to bully. That place was famous for producing reckless outlaws. On the other hand, Chen Guang was beaten up badly in the Jiangyuan district branch, but he did not encounter any resistance. What made Su Lijing most furious was the crazy reports that appeared on the internet from 7 o'clock that night. Even if he had contacted the official Weibo account again and again, and the other party seemed to be very busy because of this matter still could not be resolved. Who the hell wants to mess with me? Aren't they afraid of my revenge? Su Lijing was also sitting in front of the computer. With the help of his secretary, he looked at the growing storm on the internet and fell into deep thought. Old Su, what should we do now? Su Lijing's secretary hung up the phone and looked at him helplessly. You're asking me what to do? Tell the person in charge of the Weibo company that if they can't suppress this matter in half an hour, I will make them pay the price. Su Lijing slammed the table fiercely. He was not joking. With his status in the Chinese economics world, it was not impossible for him to do something to disgust a mere Weibo company. They said they have tried their best. The secretary still wanted to say something. If they have tried their best, why are these things still on the internet? Su Lijing pointed at the title on the screen. Who is indulging Wang Lin? How many Wang Lins are there in this world? He roared angrily. The secretary was having a headache. This kind of matter was not something a small secretary like him could handle. What's the use of yelling at me? At this moment, his finger pressed F5 to refresh again. Then, his pupils contracted as if he had seen a ghost. He refreshed the page again. Finally, he screamed, Elder Su. Jin Shirui and Jiang Yage, both of them reposted the same Weibo post at the same time. I know you're talking about those two celebrities, but why are you telling me this now? Su Lijing slapped the young man hard in the face. It's not like that. The young man covered his face and whimpered. What they forwarded was the scandals about Director Wang. What? Su Lijing froze. Jin Zhang's sudden participation in the battle caused this matter to instantly be pushed to a terrifying height. At this moment, the ones who were suffering the most were none other than the Weibo official censors. They, who had been working overtime through the night, stared at Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage's Weibo accounts. They moved their mouse to the block option again and again, but they did not dare to click on it. There was such a list in the celebrities' Weibo accounts, and it was not something that the lower-level staff could handle. Once a decision was made, it had to be reported to the higher-ups. It was said that there were people in charge of this matter at the highest level of the company. Without a doubt, Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage's Weibo accounts belonged to this category. They were the VIPs among VIPs, the fighter jets among VIPs. Not to mention the lower-level staff, even the vice president of the Weibo company, who was temporarily on duty, did not dare to breathe loudly. This company had been through at least 10 years of ups and downs, so it naturally had its own set of techniques and plans for public opinion management. It was also highly consistent with the relevant departments of the country. This time, it was an order from one of the subordinate departments of the relevant department that blocked Wang Ren's information. Then, the problem was, what should they do when Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage joined the battle? It wasn't that their Weibo company could not afford to lose this popularity, but the backgrounds of these two celebrities were too special. This was simply inhumane. The vice president was on the verge of tears. The two of them were the left and right hands of the national idol. Was it really necessary to get involved in this matter? Even if they had a strong foundation and were not afraid of offending people, as celebrities, they should not be involved in such ordinary matters. Under normal circumstances, celebrities' Weibo would have people in charge of managing it. Even if it was just a simple post, it would require the management team to consider it thoroughly. Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage were no exception. This kind of Weibo that could pollute the company's reputation was never something that Weibo company should worry about. From the beginning, the celebrities' management team should have killed it in the cradle. But this time, without any warning, these two superstars with a combined fan base of over 100 million suddenly joined the battle. Something even more frightening happened. Perhaps someone wanted to curry favor with these two, or perhaps it was a public figure from Gokyo University who ignited the first fire. When the second and third big verified accounts also brazenly reposted Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage's Weibo, an unstoppable trend started to spread. Then, the vice president received a call from the head of a certain public opinion supervision department. The other party only said one sentence: "Release the almighty Superman." The vice president hung up the phone, threw it aside, and pressed the landline button to call someone in. "I've received a notice from the higher-ups to restore the almighty Superman's data." All the data? Yes, all of it. Then, the vice president roughly knew what the other big shot, Su Lijing's attitude would be. His face was ashen. "Forget it, since the sky was falling, let it fall. I can't hold it anymore anyway." The almighty Superman had been released. 5 minutes later, the news swept across the internet like a sudden clap of thunder. The Internet Water Army Company also didn't understand what had happened, but their professionalism was unquestionable, and they decisively followed up. Since then, 3 super internet celebrities, 2 superstars on the left and right, and an almighty Superman with a fan base of less than 10 million, but his popularity was not bad. These 3 hot Weibo accounts joined the battle at the same time. With these 3 accounts as the core, there were dozens of second- and third-tier internet celebrities interspersed in. Further down, there were hundreds of public figures or small celebrities who more or less expressed their own opinions. Some people chose to believe, and their words were equally fierce against Wang Ren. Some people were skeptical, thinking that this kind of thing was too ridiculous. The Weibo company had already expressed that they could no longer continue to supervise, and even made it clear that they would let it be. Even if Su Lijing's phone was about to explode, he could only get a reply that they had not received a notice from the higher-ups. In the past, a middle-level leader of the Public Opinion Management Department who would grant almost all of his requests was Su Lijing's student, but now he didn't even dare to pick up Su Lijing's phone. On the other side, Secretary Ma and Wu Shan came to the Jiangyuan district branch together. Without any hesitation, they went straight to the detention room. I have figured out what happened to Qin Guang, but I don't understand. This is the business of the Transportation Management Department. Why did you, the Jiangyuan District Branch, come and join in the fun? Is there something wrong with your brain or something? The issue of the internet runner has never been settled. Who gave you the courage to directly arrest him? Secretary Ma walked forward quickly as he pointed at the head of the Jiangyuan District Branch's director and scolded him. The poor director looked at Wu Shan, who was standing beside Secretary Ma without saying a word, and thought to himself, "Old man, hurry up and say something. Now that Qin Guang is in such a pitiful state, it is a trick that we made up together." Wu Shan, on the other hand, was looking at his nose and heart. From time to time, he would look at Secretary Ma with a look that said, "Brother, hold on." Bang! Seeing Qin Guang lying on the iron bed in the detention room, Secretary Ma was furious and slammed the table. "What did I say before? What did you promise me? Now that you beat him up like this, how am I going to explain this to others? Who gave you the courage to do this? The higher-ups of the internet company had just participated in the visit, and you caused such a big trouble for me. Who are you slapping in the face? What kind of director are you?" Secretary Ma bombarded the head of the Jiangyuan District Branch's director. Qin Guang sat up blankly. Before he could say anything, the big shot in the province came up to him again. "Young man, I have figured out what happened to you. If you have any grievances in your heart, you can tell me. I will personally uphold justice for you." After coming closer, Qin Guang finally recognized the person in front of him. As a young man in the new era, he often watched the news. How could he not recognize this person? But here comes the problem. This big shot, who is a busy man, suddenly came out and said that he will uphold justice for me, the little brother who was arrested? To be honest, I am fine here now. I don't need you to uphold justice for me. Qin Guang couldn't help but look at Wu Shan for help. "Uncle Wu, this is not the way we thought before. How should I deal with it now? Didn't we agree that when Su Lijing couldn't bear the pressure and successfully launched the public prosecution the day after tomorrow, he would let me go out to perform?" Wu Shan, who was standing behind Secretary Ma, shrugged his shoulders. "Don't ask me, I don't know what is going on either. Little Qin, come, let's go to the hospital first. Don't keep your words in your heart. Do you think that the people in the Jiangyuan District Branch Bureau did something wrong in the procedure?" Before the others could say anything, this Secretary Ma, who was waiting for this moment, actually held Qin Guang's hand and led him outside. Qin Guang didn't want to go out. "I have already played the trick of injuring myself to gain the confidence of others. Can you not spoil my plan?" "Wait a minute." Qin Guang struggled. "Who the hell can tell me what to do now? Is this old Master Ma the Great Lord of Heaven? If I really go out with him now, won't the slap on my face be in vain?" Seeing that he couldn't move Qin Guang, Secretary Ma turned around and slapped the chief of Jiangyuan District. "What did you do to little Qin? You scared me to this extent." Chief Jiangyuan almost cried. "Mr. Secretary, let's talk about this slowly." Qin Guang saw the chief was slapped. "Forget it, I should go out. If I don't go now, I don't know how badly this hidden double agent will be punished. It's not easy for him to be slapped at his age." Chapter 416. Secretary Ma finally left after spending an hour in Wujing City Hospital. Before he left, he repeatedly asked Wu Shan to take care of Qin Guang's emotions and not let him feel wronged. "How can Qin Guang feel wronged? I have put in so much effort to make myself so miserable, and you just let me out. I feel wronged, but I can't tell you. Uncle Wu, what's going on?" Qin Guang asked. Wu Shan shook his head. "You don't know." "How would I know if you don't know? I don't even know him. I thought you contacted him. You did the right thing by not letting Su Lijing's matter slip. Although Secretary Ma is not in the same system as Su Lijing, he and Su Lijing were classmates in the past, and they are very close. If you tell him, I'm afraid he will plead for you on behalf of Su Lijing. By the way, will there be any problem with Director Luo?" The Director Luo that Qin Guang mentioned was the person from the Jiangyuan District Branch who was implicated for no reason. Wu Shan shook his head. "It's fine. If Secretary Ma really wants to hold him accountable, he will not slap him in the face in front of you. It was Wu Shan's profound way of doing things, which Chen Guang could only listen to in one ear and out the other. Chen Guang and Wu Shan discussed for a while more. There was a change in the plan, but fortunately, Secretary Ma did not notice anything. He did not link Chen Guang to the Gokyo University's Wang Lin incident. After leaving the hospital, Secretary Ma's secretary finally sent this big event to him. In addition, Su Lijing was also desperate, so he called Secretary Ma. Secretary Ma did not promise anything easily, but he did feel that it was not good for the public opinion to be in an uproar on the internet. He was about to report this matter to the public opinion regulator in Beijing, but he suddenly reminded the Secretary General that Jiang Yage and Jin Shiyue had reposted the Weibo posts against Wang Lin. Secretary Ma had been in the political circle for many years, and when Jiang Yage called him personally, he remembered Chen Guang's strange behavior in the Jiangyuan district branch. He thought for a while and guessed what had happened. He hesitated for about 10 minutes and did not call Su Lijing in the end. Secretary Ma had long heard about the good-for-nothing son of a famous scholar who was once his classmate. However, in his position, there was no need for him to poke his nose into things that he shouldn't be involved in. Su Lijing had always taken good care of Wang Lin. He only limited Wang Lin's influence to the small area of Wujing University. But old man, you seem to have hit an iron plate this time. I can't protect you and your son anymore. Chen Guang was lying on the hospital bed, playing with his mobile phone in boredom. He still did not understand why Secretary Ma came to save him out of nowhere. He tried to find out everything, but he could not find any reason. Until Jiang Yage called him, he finally understood what had happened. Jiang Yage, of course, called to ask for credit. Chen Guang did not expect that she could have such a terrible influence, nor did he expect that she would ask for such a big favor just to help him. How is it? Praise me quickly. Jiang Yage on the other side of the phone said with a smile. Chen Guang took a deep breath and thought, I really can't praise you. Do you know how resolute and courageous I was to use the Kirin arm on my face? Can you understand how I feel at this moment? You definitely don't understand. I can't explain it to you. Oh right, how much hatred do you have with that Wang Lin? Sister Shiyue and I read the long article you posted word by word. We felt that it was very sci-fi. It didn't seem like a real person. It was like something out of a novel. Jiang Yage once again showed her skill of asking for credit. Reality is often more nonsensical than novels. That's right. But we believe you, so Sister Shiyue and I forwarded it to you. This really needs to be thanked. You and Jin Shiyue forwarded it? This, how can I accept it? I can't thank you with words. Jiang Yage snappily said, shouldn't I say that? How can you say that you can't thank me? Oh, that's right. Aren't you going to do something to express your gratitude? Jiang Yage giggled. An idea flashed in Chen Guang's mind. Why don't I repay you with my body? Jiang Yage immediately replied, okay. What the hell? Can't you be a little more reserved? I'm joking. Chen Guang hurriedly added. I'm very serious. After chatting with Jiang Yage for a while, Chen Guang happily hung up the phone. Although he was afraid of her crazy knife most of the time, chatting with her really helped to ease his mood. But after Jiang Yage hung up the phone, she wasn't very happy. She looked at Jin Shiyue, who was looking at her anxiously, and said, why didn't he ask me for help? Jin Shiyue snappily glared at her. Do you really want to be his protector? Just now, your grandfather called the landline. I picked it up. He asked me to help look after you a little. He also felt that Su Lijing's behavior was a little too much. But our identities are sensitive. It's not good to get involved. It's enough for us to follow his Weibo and help him create some momentum. Jiang Yage nodded and then sighed. You're right. Jin Shiyue added, actually, we don't need to do anything else. As long as Chen Guang's things are completely true, Su Lijing is done for. Not long after hanging up the phone with Jiang Yage, Tang Ying came in again. Wujing City Hospital was her territory. How could she not know that such a special patient had come in? Tang Ying taught him a lesson on behalf of Wu Tong and secretly showed him a text message. It was Wu Tong who asked her to pass on the message. As expected, Wu Tong was held back by Wu Shan in Beijing. She didn't know if it was a coincidence or not, but Wu Tong was sent to a closed-off secret training center. She couldn't contact the outside world at all. It wasn't easy for her to find an opportunity to borrow someone's dedicated phone to send a message to Tang Ying. Wu Tong reminded Chen Guang again and again not to act rashly before she came back. Chen Guang just looked at her and smiled. Not only did I move, I couldn't stop. Instead, he told Tang Ying to keep it a secret from Wu Tong. Tang Ying was exhausted. I really don't know what's going on in your head. Although it looks like you're doing it with a sense of justice, is it good for you? Tang Ying should have gotten off work a long time ago, but she didn't leave. Since Wu Tong couldn't come back, she took over the role of Wu Tong's sister and volunteered to take care of Chen Guang. As she spoke, she handed the peeled fruit in her hand to him. Chen Guang quietly looked at the clock on the wall. It was almost 12 o'clock. He groaned. My hand hurts. I can't move. Sister Tang Ying, can you feed me? It really hurts? I'm fine. Pretending to be sick in front of the doctor? Aren't you afraid that I'll operate on you? Of course not. I'm not pretending. I'm really sick. I'm seriously injured. I look fine on the outside, but my bones are about to break into pieces inside. Although she was still spitting, Tang Ying still fed him. Sister Tang Ying, I know that I'm being silly. Who wouldn't want to live a happy life? But there's nothing I can do about it. I've read in a novel in the past. What's this called? When your thoughts aren't clear, your cultivation will suffer. Chen Guang spoke with a mixture of truth and lies. Cultivation? How am I supposed to cultivate to become an immortal? I'm not joking with you. There really are immortals in this world. Chen Guang said. Tang Ying saw how confident he was. Aren't you afraid that you'll cut your tongue off by saying this in front of the youngest genius doctor in the history of Moorlands Medical College? Chen Guang suddenly raised his head and looked at her. Hey, let's not talk about whether there are immortals or not. Let's assume that there really are immortals. If there really is such a person who can turn you into an immortal, he'll tell you that as long as you're willing to follow him, he'll grant you immortality and eternal youth. He'll grant you everything you want. He'll even be able to travel in space and extinguish a star like the sun with a single punch. Are you willing to follow him? Why are you so serious all of a sudden? Tang Ying asked curiously. She hesitated for a moment. Fine. Let's assume that what you said is true. Who would refuse such a great offer? I, Tang Ying, am just an ordinary person. I won't be able to resist this temptation. Then what if this person is very fickle and has many women, and you're just one of them? Chen Guang asked again. Tang Ying smiled coolly. I don't know what others think, but in my opinion, in the face of becoming an immortal, it doesn't matter how many women that person has. Why are you so serious? Don't tell me you're talking about yourself. Chen Guang chuckled. That's right. It's me. The person lying in front of you is the legendary Lord of all realms. As long as you follow me, I'll pluck down all the stars in the sky for you. I didn't believe Wu Tong when she said you were a lecherous little brother. I even defended you, but now I've seen through you. Tang Ying blushed and pinched his hand. She seemed to recall what happened after this guy ate the super powerful tonic soup that night. You haven't taken enough advantage of me, have you? Chen Guang nodded happily. Yes, yes. Go look for your sister Wu Tong. Tang Ying pinched him again. You're already making up stories to take advantage of me. Strangely enough, if someone else said that to her, she would only feel annoyed. But when it came to Chen Guang, she never got angry. Perhaps it was because she had left a very good first impression when they first met, or perhaps it was because they had already done things on a larger scale, or perhaps it was because her best friend, Wu Tong, had made it clear that she wanted to give herself to him. Tang Ying only felt shy when faced with this guy's teasing, but she didn't feel the slightest bit unhappy. While Chen Guang was lying in the VIP ward pretending to be a patient enjoying the warmth of a woman, Su Lijing was on the verge of breaking down. Chapter 417. With the Internet Water Army's actions as the first point, Wang Ren's matter once again became a hot topic after a day of silence and brewing. However, it was not hot enough at that time, and not many people paid attention to it. Jin Shuiwei and Jiang Yage followed the trend and posted on Weibo as the second-time note. This matter suddenly heated up and swept across the entire Weibo in a short period of time like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves. As more and more people paid attention to it, the matter seemed to form a chemical chain reaction and brewed on its own. Until half an hour ago, the first web portal began to publish this matter as a special topic on its homepage, and the heat was once again raised to another level. The previous hot topic was the Chinese men's soccer team entering the World Cup. Wang Lin's special topic was called, "It takes 10 years to grow trees, and 100 years to educate people. Be a worm in the towering tree of modern education." Sohu News' special topic was called, "Reality is crueler than fiction. Who will uphold justice for the dead?" China News' special topic was the most eye-catching. Who is Wang Lin? Who is the Wang Lin behind Wang Lin? China News, as the official mouthpiece, actually put such a title on their homepage. The meaning of the title was very obvious. The wind had changed. Finally, under Qin Guang's brewing and manipulation, this matter went from a spark to a prairie fire, and it could not be stopped. Water can carry a boat, but it can also capsize it. Su Lijing had been in business for half his life, and the only stain was on Wang Lin. In the past, no one had uncovered him, or even if someone did, it was not powerful enough. Su Lijing could easily use his personal influence to eliminate it. Until today, when Qin Guang almost flipped the table with his life, he could no longer hide it. In the middle of the night, Wang Lin received a phone call, and then his face turned ashen. His connections in the procuratorate had privately informed him that Wang Lin's prosecution would officially start tomorrow, and this meant that he could no longer leave the country. "I told you to leave immediately. You said you don't want to leave. Now it's all over. You can't leave." Su Lijing slapped Wang Lin's face hard, but this did not quell his anger. Then, he received another call. It was from a junior police officer from the Jiangyuan district's sub-bureau. He only informed him of one thing. Chen Guang was taken out of the sub-bureau. Secretary Ma led the team, and Wu Shan accompanied him. When Su Lijing heard this, his heart turned cold. "It's over. Dad, you must help me. You have to save me. I know I was wrong. I don't want to go to jail. You can't let me go to jail. Dad, you must have a way, right? I'll be fine, right?" Wang Lin even forgot about his injuries and knelt down in front of Su Lijing. Su Lijing gave Wang Lin a pained look. "Do you regret it now? When I told you to leave, why didn't you take it seriously? I am your son. There was no reason for him to go to jail over such a small matter. I didn't expect this." Wang Lin said tearfully. This time, Su Lijing did not correct him. He was not in the mood to do so. Wang Lin's aunt also ran out of the study. "Attention, you can't just ignore this. It's been so long, why are you bringing up the past? Go find someone, you have so many friends. They could all be of help. There will be no problem, right? You only have one son, Shaoran. Shaoran is still young. Who hasn't made mistakes? He can't go to jail." Su Lijing looked at the mother and son, echoing each other, and felt extremely tired. He really did not understand what he had done wrong. Why was his son so useless? Was he still young? He was already over 30 years old, and this was still considered young. Look at the children of other families. Which one of them was like him? They were past 30 years old and still accomplished nothing. Not only that, but their minds were always filled with dirty and rotten ideas. "You really are an idiot. I told you so many times not to cause trouble in school. You like women, there are so many expensive ones out there. Why can't you control your crotch? If you didn't touch Shu Jingxi, if you didn't provoke Qin Guang, you wouldn't have become like this." Su Lijing raised his leg, wishing he could step on Wang Lin's back. But in the end, he could not bring himself to do it. "Forget it. Now that things have come to this, I can only sell my old face. Don't worry, I will think of a way." In fact, Su Lijing had never thought that Wang Lin would become like this because of his words, "I will think of a way." Su Lijing indulged him again and again, cleaning up after him again and again. This made Wang Lin, who was already a bad person, even more indulgent. He always felt that no matter how big the mess he made, Su Lijing would be able to handle it for him. At least in the 10 years before today, Wang Ren's trick had been tried and tested. How could there be karma without cause in this world? Chen Guang was discharged from the hospital early the next morning. He first quietly went to the hotel room that he had arranged with Deputy Director Han to meet with the family of the boy who was seriously injured and eventually died in a vegetative state. So far, the only things that could really be used to convict Wang Ren were this boy, the nurse, and Ding Lu. The other so-called corruption and the so-called unspoken rules in the school, although hateful, could be said to be consensual. It could be said that there was a problem with his lifestyle, but it was not enough to convict him. At least if they wanted to touch someone with Wang Ren's background, these things were not fatal. Currently, Ding Lu's family had lost contact, and the nurse was unwilling to come forward. The only people who could file a lawsuit as the victim's family was actually the boy's family. The family had originally given up on struggling. Now that Chen Guang had taken the lead to help them get revenge, they were naturally grateful. Chen Guang did not say much. He only told them to be at ease and boldly sue. As long as they sent Wang Ren to court, he would handle the rest of the matter. In the afternoon, the court summons was delivered to Wang Ren. However, Chen Guang received an unexpected phone call. It was from Su Lijing. Su Lijing asked to meet with him. Originally, Chen Guang did not want to respond, but after discussing it with Wu Shan, he finally went. The two arranged to meet at a tea house in the center of Wujing City. When Chen Guang arrived, Su Lijing had already sat down in the private room of the tea house. After a few days, the old man who was originally aggressive seemed to have aged 10 years. His spirit was not as good as before, and there seemed to be a lot more white hair on his head. Su Lijing personally poured a cup of hot tea for Chen Guang. Chen Guang did not take the initiative to open his mouth. He just watched this giant of the economics world humble himself to do this seemingly meaningless thing. Chen Guang, stop. I can give you whatever benefits you want. Su Lijing gently pushed the teacup in front of Chen Guang with both hands. Chen Guang looked down at the tea in the cup. It was clearly overflowing with tea fragrance, but he did not have the slightest appetite. Vice Principal Su, I have already done this much. Do you think it's possible for me to stop? What do you want? What benefits does this bring to you? Su Lijing saw that lowering his head was not going to work, so he slammed the table. Chen Guang laughed. What? Seeing that lowering your head is useless, you want to play the old trick of threatening me? I'm sorry, I don't buy it. If I was really afraid of you, I wouldn't have meddled in this matter from the beginning. Do you think I really want something? Su Lijing looked at Chen Guang with a scrutinizing gaze. Of course, everyone in the world comes for benefits. No one rises early without benefits. You should understand one thing. Even if I, Su Lijing, don't hold this position anymore and become an unemployed old man, if you offend me to death, I can still make it difficult for you to take a single step in the future. You know the risks involved. Without enough attractive benefits, why would you do such a strenuous and unrewarding thing? Chen Guang picked up the cup and splashed the tea on the floor. Vice Principal Su, you don't understand me, and I don't expect you to understand. If I say that I did all this for no reason other than to have a clear conscience, you definitely won't believe me. But this is the truth. If you insist on asking me what I want, I can only tell you this. What I want is an eye for an eye. To have a clear conscience. After saying that, he turned to leave. Stop right there. Su Lijing suddenly stood up. Chen Guang turned back. What else do you want to say? I know your background. Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because someone is backing you up. You don't understand. You are breaking the rules. Even if you can really hurt me, you will lose your value after this, and you will be abandoned like a broken broom. Su Lijing was not stupid. He vaguely guessed that Chen Guang had the support of a hidden political enemy. He understood the meaning of this too well. Indeed, Chen Guang didn't understand Su Lijing's reasoning, nor did he want to understand. However, he wasn't a fool, so how could he not understand Su Lijing's unspoken words? Old Mr. Su, I truly admire your imagination, but you've guessed wrongly. Okay, I thought you would have a little bit of repentance, so I came today. But now it seems that I wasted my time again." After saying that, Chen Guang was about to leave again. "Don't think that I will wait for death." Su Lijing looked at Chen Guang's back and slammed the table. Chapter 418. Chen Guang turned around and slammed the table even harder than Su Lijing. "Old Mr. Su, put away your stubborn temper. That's right, I'm a small fry, but small fry also have small fry principles. I've never been so determined to do something that has no meaning to me as I am now. But I've never thought of backing down. You know better than me what kind of bastard Wang Lin is. Someone should have stood up long ago. In the past 3 years, I've tried to convince myself not to be a good person, not to do something that's strenuous and unrewarding. I almost succeeded. I almost turned myself into a rat hiding in a turtle shell. But now I'm very thankful. I'm thankful that I brought out enough courage and determination. I didn't become the person I hated the most. Yes, this doesn't do me any good at all. It could even be said to be endless trouble. If I had to say where I went wrong, it was that I shouldn't have known about Ding Lu. I shouldn't have read Ding Lu's will. I shouldn't have listened to that despairing recording. A person has to be willful once in their life. I'm going to be willful today. I'm going to King Skin Yu and Wang Ren today. I'm going to be the person who should have stood up long ago. Use whatever methods you have. I want to see if this world is really that dark. I can't stand this darkness. I want everything I see to turn into white. I wasn't that kind of person in the past. Thank you and your good son for letting me see the extreme of filth and ugliness. Yes, you, Su Lijing, have done many things for the country and the people, but that can't be a reason for you to allow Wang Lin to be lawless. Ding Lu's family was so poor that they couldn't even afford to eat. They didn't receive any help from you. But under your connivance, Wang Lin destroyed everything for her. From your body to your soul, you've been completely destroyed by your good son. Even if you had such a great contribution, it had nothing to do with Ding Lu. What you owe her, I'll help her get back. I really have to thank you. If it weren't for you, Chen Guang, would definitely choose to shrink my neck and be a selfish person for the rest of my life. But now I can't do it. I have to be a good person. Su Lijing was so angry that his entire body trembled. He pointed at Chen Guang and said, "You little bastard." Chen Guang laughed. He turned his head abruptly and moved his face closer and closer, staring at Su Lijing. Su Lijing subconsciously backed away, but his head hit the wall of the private room. Chen Guang suddenly reached out his hand, grabbed Su Lijing's collar, and lifted him up. "You called me a little bastard? An old bastard like you dares to say that to me? Don't you often wonder why my son is so useless? Why can't he save me some trouble? Can't you understand this logic? No, you might understand, but how could you not? If it weren't for the fact that you feel that you're great, that you're superior to others, that the Su family should naturally ride on the heads of nobodies, how could you turn a blind eye to Wang Ren's actions? If it weren't for you, how could Wang Ren have become such a person? You, Su Lijing, are the real #1 bastard. The biggest bastard. Old bastard. Bald donkey. I feel like I'll dirty my mouth if I say another word to you." After Chen Guang said that, he threw Su Lijing to the ground, slammed the door, and left. Su Lijing coughed violently and slowly stood up. The 2 bodyguards who had been guarding outside rushed in. "Elder Su, are you all right?" Su Lijing waved his hand and coughed twice. I'm fine. He did not have the mood to let these 2 bodyguards cause trouble for Chen Guang. Of course, these 2 might not have the guts to do so. He was indescribably disappointed. Things had finally reached a point where there was no turning back. If Chen Guang really wanted something, perhaps they could still negotiate. But what he was most afraid of was that Chen Guang was a hothead. What he was most afraid of was that this guy was just doing what Su Lijing saw as meaningless justice. This was king belief. This was especially scary. 70 years ago, there was a group of people who were not afraid of death for this country. That was the feeling that Chen Guang gave him now. Su Lijing had never thought that he, who had stood proudly in this country and even in the economics world for so many years, could speak freely with the country's leaders, would one day be pointed at his nose and scolded by a student, and he could not retaliate. Chen Guang and Su Lijing had fallen out. He also knew that this unrepentant old man would make a move soon, but he did not expect it to be so soon. An hour later, the prosecution lawyer that Lu Fei had helped to contact suddenly broke the contract and no longer accepted the lawsuit. Apart from that, the family of the boy who originally hated Su Lijing and Wang Lin changed his mind for some reason. Without the victim's family to sue, the original procedure had to be overturned again. Mr. Chin, Deputy Director Han, we don't want to sue Wang Lin anymore. The boy's father looked at the livid Chen Guang and Deputy Director Han, his eyes flashing. Old Han was furious. Did Su Lijing contact you in private? Are you guys stupid or what? What do you call this? This is called asking a tiger for its skin. This is called helping a tiger do its evil. We put in so much effort to create a good situation. We risked our futures and lives to help you seek justice, and now you're telling us that you want to get cold feet? Thank you for your help all this time. We know what's right and wrong, and we also know that you've sacrificed a lot, but... The boy's mother's eyes reddened as she spoke. Chen Guang looked at the family's extremely awkward expression and asked, if I'm not wrong, Su Lijing told you two things in general. First, even if you win the lawsuit and send Wang Lin to jail, Wang Lin won't die, and you won't get many benefits. When the time comes, he'll keep thinking of ways to make trouble for you. Second, if you give up on suing, he'll promise you all sorts of benefits. The boy's father's face stiffened. Wei Tianwang had guessed everything correctly, but of course he could not admit it. He shook his head. No, it's not like that. It was just an accident. It has nothing to do with Wang Lin. What a joke. I've already shown you the surveillance footage. Now you're telling me that this matter has nothing to do with Wang Lin? Are you worthy of your son's soul in the netherworld? Don't you feel pain? Don't you feel pain? Don't you hate him? Chen Guang was so angry that he laughed. Sometimes, you really couldn't bring yourself to love some people. It's not that we don't want to, but that's Su Lijing. Even if we send Wang Lin to jail, there's actually not much meaning. Xiaosong is already gone, but our lives still have to go on. He won't blame us. Chen Guang and Old Han looked at each other. Although they didn't know how much benefits they received, it wasn't hard to imagine how strong the coercion and temptation that could make a family give up on the hatred of losing their son. The two walked out of the hotel room dejectedly. Before they closed the door, Chen Guang vaguely heard a sentence from inside. That Su guy said there's still half, right? We'll use this money to build a new grave for Xiaosong. He'll forgive us, right? The family's sudden change of heart turned the originally good situation into a mess within a day. It's all my fault. I didn't expect Su Lijing to work on the victim's family. I originally thought they were the most reliable people. Sigh, if I knew this would happen, I would have hidden them away and not let Su Lijing's people come into contact with them. Old Han blamed himself. He looked at Chen Guang, who also had an ugly expression. This young man didn't seek fame or profit. He only provided manpower and money to uphold justice. Instead, the victim's family was the first to retreat. On the other hand, as a dignified deputy director, he was only responsible for such a small matter, and now he was in trouble. Compared to him, he was ashamed of his inferiority. How disappointed must he be in his heart at this moment? Chen Guang smiled. It's okay. If it doesn't work, I'll sue myself. Although it doesn't seem like I have a position, it's fine as long as I can send Wang Lin to court. If he really can't go to court, I have other ways. What are you going to do? Old Han was shocked. Chen Guang didn't say anything, but his gaze was firm. On the other end, Guoming, who had gone to a few law firms in a day, also called dejectedly. In the big Wujing city, or even the whole country, there wasn't a single law firm that was willing to take on this matter. Su Lijing had already gone all out. He wanted to take drastic measures. Although Wang Lin was currently in a precarious situation due to the uproar on the internet, Su Lijing's years of operation were not for nothing. Apart from that, the news of Secretary Ma standing up for Qin Guang had already spread in a small circle. However, for those who weren't well informed, they didn't know what relationship Secretary Ma and Qin Guang had with Su Lijing. They only treated this matter as a personal grudge between Su Lijing and the internet celebrity known as the Almighty Superman. As for Jin Lijing and Jiang Fei's inexplicable participation in the battle, perhaps they had been duped, or perhaps they had nothing better to do. In any case, the two of them never had a black mark, and no one dared to talk about the two of them, right? Even if the Huaxiao News Network had begun to point out Wang Lin by name, Wang Lin was backed by Su Lijing. Putting aside the fact that he spoiled his only son, his personal influence in all aspects of the country couldn't be ignored. Therefore, when Su Lijing began to personally stand up and protect Wang Lin, not only the law firm that Lu Fei had contacted, but all the large law firms in the country had to think twice. At this time, the ones who were the most conflicted and in pain were the procuratorate. Originally, they couldn't withstand the pressure from all over the place, as well as the direction of public opinion, and were prepared to launch a public prosecution against Wang Lin. However, at that time, Su Lijing hadn't really made a move yet, and the boy's family was also radical enough with the help of Qin Guang. However, suddenly, that family didn't make any moves. The procuratorate was also in a dilemma, but Su Lijing personally asked someone to call them. For a time, Qin Guang and Old Man Han couldn't do anything. Chapter 419. Are we just going to let it go like this? Old Han looked at Qin Guang in despair. The popularity of Wang Ren's case on the internet would eventually die down. This was also the characteristic of the internet. Every day, at every moment, there would be all kinds of hot news. News came and went quickly. Even if there was a big explosion somewhere and everyone knew about it for a while, after a while, this hot news would be gradually overshadowed by the torrent of information explosion. People's attention would be diverted, and their hatred and disgust would be forgotten. Even if the world was turned upside down, if one could not take advantage of the time when the wind blew to settle it, it would only become an inconspicuous past that was buried by the wind and sand. Without Wu Shan adding fuel to the fire, Qin Guang wanted to rely on his own strength to complete this matter and send Wang Lin to court. Even if it seemed justified, the world's principles could not be won just by standing on the side of reason. Unwilling to give up, Qin Guang posted another Weibo post using the Almighty Superman. This time, he flipped the table again. I thought that I could uphold justice with my moral standing, but now I realize that I'm powerless. I'm just an internet celebrity. Other than shouting on the internet, I can't do anything. My friend told me that the victim's family backed down and wanted to withdraw the lawsuit. He couldn't find a law firm willing to take the case, and the documents sent by the prosecutor's office were also empty promises. I don't understand what's going on with this world. Why can't the wicked get the punishment they deserve? I used to think that it was because the ugly was not exposed to the world. Now, as a first-tier internet celebrity, I take out the ugly things and let them bask in the sun, let the sun purify the ugliness of the world. But now I realize that I was wrong. I'm just an incandescent light. If someone cuts off my electricity, I have no light. Now that I have electricity again, I'm starting to struggle again. I'm starting to court death again. But it's meaningless. In the video you can see, I'm an omnipotent almighty Superman. On the other side, you can't see, I'm just a useless person who can't do anything. From tomorrow onwards, I will be a blind man. I no longer need my eyes to find the light. From tomorrow onwards, I'll be deaf. I don't want to hear the mournful and hateful wails of vengeful spirits. From tomorrow onwards, I'll be a cripple. I'll live the rest of my life in the illusion with a leg that's covered in mud and rotten. From tomorrow onwards, I'll be a madman. Since I can't change anything, I'll just make myself crazy. That way, I might be able to live a more relaxed life. Is this really the only way? Parking his car alone outside Zhujiangxi's neighborhood, Qin Guang pressed the send button. Jean Shirue waved her hand. It's okay. We're not children anymore. What's wrong with falling in love? But, no buts. I've already posted it on Weibo. Sister Shuiwei, are you crazy? There's no need to say this kind of thing on Weibo. It's enough to let some people know in private. If you post it like this, our fans will explode. Jin Shuiwei shrugged. After singing for so many years and acting in movies and TV shows for so many years, I'm also a little tired. Anyway, if those fans can understand it, then so be it. If they can't, I don't mind. Do we lack money? At most, I'll just take a break. Even if I really have a boyfriend, who can say anything? Besides, do you really think you can release the news in a small circle? Don't you think about my dad? If we don't directly post it online and catch them off guard, you and I won't even have a chance to talk. We can only post it on Weibo. What did you say? Jiang Yage snatched Jin Shuiwei's phone and read it word by word. I'm in love. The boy I like is 3 months older than me. His surname is Chen. He's a third-year university student. He's not in the entertainment industry. He's the brightest ray of light in my life. Since the first time I saw him, I've fallen in love with him. Please give me your blessings and don't disturb him. You scared me to death. I thought you were going to post a photo of him. Jiang Yage patted her chest after reading it. Jin Shuiwei smiled casually. I'm not stupid. Can't you see that he's most afraid of fame? I don't even dare to say his name. But people who understand will naturally understand after seeing it. It's enough to subdue Su Lijing. All right, Sister Shuiwei, thank you. Jiang Yage returned the phone to Jin Shuiwei. She didn't know what to say. Dragging his exhausted body and mind, Chen Guang returned to Zhuojingxi's dormitory for the first time in a few days. The girls were still there to keep watch. Although Chen Guang didn't call them at all in the past few days, they could guess how much Chen Guang had done in the past few days from the scattered rumors on the internet. Zhuojingxi had been on Weibo, staring at the almighty Superman. When this limerick called, "Starting Tomorrow," was posted, Zhuojingxi understood. Things didn't go as smoothly as he imagined. The resistance he encountered was stronger than he imagined. At the end of the day, he was still a student. He was the one who insisted on stiffening his neck, straightening his shoulders, and shouldering this burden that he shouldn't have. How much disappointment and pain must he have felt in the depths of his heart to be able to write such a thing? Zhuojingxi's impression of Chen Guang was never one who liked to show off his literary talent. He didn't have any literary talent either. Let's just forget about it. I believe that after this incident, Wang Lin won't dare to do anything in school anymore. Zhuojingxi began to waver. At this moment, the doorbell rang. Zhuojingxi stood up abruptly. Could it be that he was back? When she opened the door and saw Chen Guang with red eyes and his head hanging down, Zhuojingxi's heart almost broke. You're finally back. Zhuojingxi couldn't care less about being reserved anymore. She rushed forward and hugged Chen Guang. It's been hard on you these past few days. Feeling Zhuojingxi's warm embrace, Chen Guang's originally empty heart was suddenly warmed up. He then looked up at Fan Lingshan, Hua Ling, and Zhongyu, who were looking at him from the side. Chen Guang had an illusion that he was the man who shouldered the storm on his shoulders. This was his home, the harbor of his soul. Don't ask me anything. I don't want to talk about it. Let me rest. I'm a little tired. Squeezing out of Zhuojingxi's embrace, Chen Guang forced a smile at the crowd. He rarely showed such a weak expression. It was really too hard on him outside. He had done everything he could to this day and was about to succeed, but because the person he could rely on the most reneged on his words, it was all for naught. He was really tired. Admittedly, he could try to find Ding Lu's family again, but it was probably too late. As long as he gave Su Lijing a chance to breathe, he would probably send Wang Lin away even if he had to bear the immense pressure. He was really at his wit's end. After dinner, Chen Guang wasn't in the mood to care about the storm outside. He told everyone that he was a little sleepy and went into Zhuojingxi's bedroom. He lay on the bed and played with his phone. He was scrolling through Weibo out of boredom when he saw the Weibo post that Jin Shuiwei had just posted. He thought he was blind. Chapter 420. Jin Shuiwei, who had never been involved in any scandals, actually publicly admitted that she was in love. It was like a stone that caused 1,000 ripples. In less than an hour, The internet had completely exploded. The news came too suddenly and caught people off guard. It was like a sudden clap of thunder. Her love partner was just a university student. For a moment, many fans were heartbroken. Some fanatical fans even clamored on the internet to threaten her with death. They said that their goddess was no longer pure, and that there was no meaning in their lives anymore. It would be better to drag their goddess to death with them. Of course, there were also some rational fans who replied to persuade Jin Shirue. They told her that she was not even 21 years old yet, and that it was the peak of her career. There was no need to put herself in the cage of love so early. There were also a small number of fans who expressed their understanding of Jin Shirue's decision. They were grateful that their goddess was not like other actresses. They were obviously already married or had changed countless boyfriends, but they still pretended to be pure in front of their fans. They said that they liked this kind of Jin Shirue, this kind of left and right hand. Yes, there was. No, there was no. They liked that she was always sincere, and they liked that she did not lie or pretend. This Weibo post did not damage their goddess's image in their hearts. Instead, it made them even more fanatical. They felt that for Jin Shirue to post this Weibo at the peak of her career, she and her boyfriend must be really in love. Celebrities are also people. Celebrities also have the freedom to love. We support it. It was not only these fans who were crazy, but also the major entertainment media. In the past many years, there had been speculation about the scandals between Jin Shirue and Jiang Yache. However, some of the media who followed the trend had cleverly kept their mouths shut after they were unlucky. It was also proven that although the two of them were mixed in the big vat of the entertainment industry, no one could make irresponsible remarks about the love lives of the two women. Not to mention the scandals, even in the TV movies, the two of them had always used a stunt double for kissing scenes. They rarely even held hands. Many people even suspected that the two girls, who had grown up together, had an abnormal sexual orientation and did not like men at all. But today, this incomparably explosive news came from Jin Shirue's own mouth, and the meaning and concept were different. In the past, no one dared to guess or say anything, but now that she has admitted it herself, of course, we have to make a big deal out of it. Entertainment information websites, gossip Weibo, gossip websites, newspapers and magazines, and even major video websites followed up immediately, trying to analyze Jin Shirue's Weibo in depth. At this moment, Jin Shirue's best friend, Jiang Yache, also spoke. Congratulations, Sister Shirue, for finding your true love. I've also met handsome Chen, he's a good man. Sister Shirue, you beat me to it. His heart ached for himself. I won't say any more, Sister Shirue hit me. Jiang Yache's Weibo brought this matter to an even higher level of popularity. Who didn't know that these two people were inseparable from each other? Jin Shirue did not speak nonsense. This was really not an April Fool's joke. Jin Shirue's family called immediately, but she only replied with such a simple sentence, "Dad, don't say anything, I'm serious." Jin Shirue's father had originally prepared thousands of words, but all of a sudden he choked back, You really? Who's it? Why didn't you tell me first? Anyway, he's a very, very good boy. For him, I cannot be a star, I can leave the screen, I can put away the microphone, I'm willing to live a simple life with him facing the sea and flowers blooming in spring. I didn't tell you in advance because I was afraid that you wouldn't be happy, wouldn't agree, and wouldn't let me say it. Anyway, when the time is right, I'll bring him to you. Jin Shirue hung up the phone, and Jiang Yache sized her up for a long time. Sister Shirue, Jin Shirue smiled, if I don't say it seriously, how can I deceive them? I have to post another Weibo, the fans' comments below are going to explode. I've experienced too much life under the spotlight, I've also seen a lot of good boys, but there has never been anyone like him who could give me the courage and impulse to give up everything to be with him. I know that there will be a lot of people who don't understand me, but I don't expect to be understood by everyone. As an artist, as a public figure, this is something I have to face. I can choose to keep it a secret, but I can't do it. I clearly love him, but I still have to hide it from all of you. No matter if you scold me or if you don't pay attention to me in the future, I will say it loudly, I love him. I am like this. I am Jean Shirue. I am an artist. I am also a woman. Pressing the send button, Jean Shirue winked at Jiang Yage. How is it? Did I write it well? Jiang Yage was extremely envious. Sigh, I really wish I was the one who posted this Weibo. Far away in Wujing City, thousands of kilometers away, Chen Guang was nestled in Zhuo Jingxi's fragrant bed, and he was already a little drowsy, but then he was shocked by Jean Shirue's Weibo. He was so sleepy that he almost ran away. Surname Chen? The light in my life? It's not that I'm narcissistic, but no matter how I think about it, this is F** King talking about the old man. Does this mean that she's publicly confessing to me in front of the whole world? Although it feels good, it's too sci-fi. But he immediately realized something was wrong. Even if it was really one of the two people who posted this, there was no reason for it to be Jean Shirue. It should be Jiang Yage, right? Did I open Weibo the wrong way? Or could it be that all along, Jiang Yage was just a cover, and the one who really liked him was Jean Shirue? He blushed on his own behalf when he said such a thing. He really couldn't suppress his curiosity, so he opened WeChat to take a look. After seeing the message from Jean Shirue, he instantly understood what was going on. Jean Shirue had helped him a lot. Chen Guang would never have dreamed that Jean Shirue would help him like this. For a 21-year-old female artist to publicly admit her relationship and post such mushy words, Chen Guang could roughly imagine the price she had to pay. But with her Weibo, coupled with her identity and background, it really became Chen Guang's death exemption gold medal. Chen Guang knew that no matter what, he didn't have to worry about Su Lijing's revenge. It was just that the price seemed a little too high for Jean Shirue. It's not worth it. Don't you have an easier way to do it? If your background is really as scary as the rumors say, or just because Secretary Tianma personally came to the Jiangyuan branch office to rescue me, you don't have to do this. Chen Guang really couldn't understand Jean Shirue's super help. But no matter what, he had to remember Jean Shirue's kindness. Thousands of words couldn't express it all. In the end, he could only reply with two simple words, thank you. After replying, Chen Guang clicked on his almighty Superman's Weibo again. The fans' comments were as usual, each with their own opinions. Some people encouraged him, feeling that he was doing what he had always wanted to do, but didn't have the courage or ability to do it. Similarly, some people slandered him, saying that this is the era of fast food consumption. We like you because you can use videos to surprise us and let us pass the time. We don't need you to bring us any deeper thoughts. Our lives are already unhappy enough. You'd better only share happy things with us. After all, you're just an internet celebrity. You're just an actor. Don't make yourself out to be a saint. You can't change anything, and you can't teach us anything. Just give up and become the almighty Superman that we used to like, and not the public intellectual who can't extricate himself. There were also some young or impulsive young lawyers who were willing to stand up and provide legal assistance, but Chen Guang knew that it was useless. Unknowingly, he actually fell asleep. When he opened his eyes again, it was already late at night. He didn't know how long he had slept. Zhuo Jingxi was lying next to him, covered with the same blanket as him. There was a faint light coming from her direction, and it seemed that she was still playing with her phone. What time was it? Where were the others? Why did she directly fall asleep? She seemed to have changed into her pajamas. Chen Guang gently twitched his nose, feeling the faint fragrance of the shower gel coming from Zhuo Jingxi's body. With a faint light from her phone, he looked in Zhuo Jingxi's direction and keenly noticed that the pajama straps on her shoulders were loosely hanging. Only pajama straps, no bra? She wasn't wearing anything else? What's going on? A man and a woman, sleeping together in the middle of the night? Teacher Zhuo, why didn't you wake me up? He didn't know if it was an illusion or real, but Chen Guang felt that the fragrance in his nose was getting stronger and stronger. The room in the middle of summer seemed to be a little hot. Zhuo Jingxi moved slightly, pulled the blanket covering her down a little, and then slightly twisted her body in Chen Guang's direction. Her face was still facing the phone screen, and he didn't know what she was looking at, but she was exceptionally focused. Her silk pajamas were too loose, and Chen Guang's sharp eyes drilled past her body. He could even clearly see the slight goosebumps on the edge of the arc. He secretly swallowed his saliva, feeling that the situation was not good. No, I can't go on like this. I have to think of a way to remind her that I'm already awake. Chen Guang got up slightly and moved forward a little, pretending to look at her phone screen curiously. It was actually Jin Shiyue's Weibo post. Feeling the movement behind her, Zhuo Jingxi suddenly turned around to look at him. You're awake? She was so calm. Chen Guang answered blankly, yes. Zhuo Jingxi smiled again, and instead moved closer to Chen Guang a little more. She placed the phone screen in front of him, pointed at it, and said, the third-year student with the surname Chen mentioned in this Weibo post, is that you? The smell on her body was even stronger. Chen Guang's eyes looked at Zhuo Jingxi's phone, but his mind was a mess. The distance between the two of them was too close. As if deliberately to let Chen Guang see the words on the screen clearly, Zhuo Jingxi's body was tilted too much, so much so that one of her more voluptuous hemispheres than the average person's was pressing on Chen Guang's shoulder. Yes, it's me, but that's not our relationship. Chen Guang responded as he moved to the other side, forcibly increasing the distance between the two of them. Although there was a little devil in his heart that was reluctant to leave, he still felt that it was not right to go on like this. It was too wrong. Zhuo Jingxi seemed to have sensed his thoughts. She covered her mouth and chuckled, then moved closer to him without changing her expression. Why are you explaining it to me? Chapter 421. I wanted to explain it to you, so I explained it to you. The conversation between the two of them was very boring. No wonder the two of them reposted your Weibo post. It turns out that you already know your left and right hands. I really couldn't tell. In the darkness, Zhuo Jingxi's tone became a little strange. The faint light from the phone screen made her face look a little hazy. Chen Guang told Zhuo Jingxi everything about how he got to know his left and right hands. I really couldn't tell that you're so charming. It's just a life-saving debt, and they're helping you like this. How big of a celebrity is she? In order to protect you, she often tells people that she's in a relationship. As Zhuo Jingxi said this, she giggled and pointed at Jin Shiyue's second Weibo post on the phone screen. She teased, look at what she wrote. I love him. Even though so many fans are protesting, she still says that's just how I am. Oh right, what did the previous post say? He's a ray of light in my life. I'm getting goosebumps all over. I already said that she's helping me. Why don't you believe me? What do you mean by life-saving debt? How many lives do people have in this lifetime? You're making it sound so simple. Chen Guang was getting a headache from her joking tone. He gritted his teeth and reached out to poke her armpit through the silk pajamas. Zhuo Jingxi burst out laughing. Don't scratch me. It's itchy. Chen Guang was about to stop, but she giggled and said, anyway, as a woman, I'm guessing that Jin Shiyue definitely likes you. You can't pretend to like her. You're still talking. He couldn't let her off. Chen Guang extended his demonic claws again, and Zhuo Jingxi smiled as she resisted. One attacked and the other defended. Finally, Chen Guang's hand still managed to burrow into her armpit, and he scratched desperately. Zhuo Jingxi's tickling was unbearable, and she struggled desperately to break free. Chen Guang was having fun, so how could he let her escape? His hands tightened, and his body subconsciously pressed in her direction. Finally, something happened. Chen Guang's left hand, which was originally going to scratch her armpit, reached the wrong place. It went under her armpit of her pajamas and suddenly grabbed something plump and elastic. The two of them were momentarily stunned. Chen Guang moved his fingers slightly. His fingertips seemed to have touched something again. His mind was in a state of panic and blankness. How did it become like this? He hurriedly pulled his hand out forcefully. His nails seemed to have accidentally scratched somewhere they shouldn't have. Zhuo Jingxi moaned. I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. Chen Guang defended himself. Zhuo Jingxi was silent for about 5 seconds before she said with a trembling voice, It's okay. Silence, awkwardness, and a strange atmosphere filled the entire room for a moment. Both of them were caught unprepared by this sudden turn of events. Where are they? The atmosphere was too embarrassing. Chen Guang decided to say something to divert attention, even though he couldn't get the softness and hardness of his palm out of his mind. Zhuo Jingxi's voice calmed down a little. Hua Ling and Zhong Yu went back to school. Ling Shan is sleeping next door. Chen Guang said, "Oh." Then there was another mysterious silence. They didn't know how much time had passed, but Chen Guang's eyes were still wide open. "Teacher Zhuo, are you asleep?" "No, don't call me teacher. Call me Jingxi," Zhuo Jingxi replied. "Oh, Jingxi, thank you. I know you're just trying to make me happy." Zhuo Jingxi suddenly propped herself up and put her head in front of Chen Guang. "So, are you happier now?" Looking at the face in front of him, Chen Guang's heart suddenly beat very fast. "I am a little happy." "That's good." Zhuo Jingxi smiled. She suddenly moved her mouth forward and kissed him gently on the cheek. "Consider it a reward for your hard work these past few days." Chen Guang's face heated up when he was suddenly attacked by her. "What's there to reward me for? It's not hard work." I said it so nicely, but in the end I thought things were too simple and easy. I thought that I was an internet celebrity and that I knew some amazing people, so I could make evil people get what they deserve. But in reality, in the end, I didn't do anything. I'm really all a good for nothing. Zhuo Jingxi suddenly reached out and covered his mouth. "Don't talk about yourself like that. You're still young and you're still a student. This isn't something you should care about. You've already done very well. Otherwise, just forget it. This time, you've already caused Su Lijing and Wang Renha a lot of trouble. He won't appear in school anymore. This is already very good." Chen Guang suddenly became angry. He pushed Zhuo Jingxi's hand away and sat up straight. He waved his arms and said loudly, "How is this not good? Don't comfort me. And don't pity me. I even hated that I couldn't quietly go and break his neck. I finally understand. Yes, it's my fault. I shouldn't have relied on the law from the beginning. I should have thought of a way to break his neck from the beginning." Zhuo Jingxi was shocked by Chen Guang's sudden anger. She jumped up from the bed and hugged him tightly. Don't be like this. Don't be impulsive." "What do you mean don't be impulsive?" "It's because too many people are always around me, telling me not to be impulsive, telling me not to do this, not to do that. It's such a simple thing, but it has to be like this. Is there a point? Is there a point?" Chen Guang really wanted to say it out loud. He, Wang Ren, was not an ordinary person. He had Su Lijing behind him. He, Chen Guang, was not an ordinary person either. He had God behind him. Although this God was crazy and unreliable, she would definitely not let him die. Enough. I've had enough. I'm tired of the game of power. They've forced me. Tonight, right now, I'm going to drag that bastard Wang Ren out. I'm going to crush his bones into powder inch by inch. I'm going to make him regret being born in this world. If Su Lijing dares to say another word, I'll kill him too." Chen Guang said as he jumped off the bed. Zhuo Jingxi hugged him tightly from behind. She didn't care that her thin pajamas couldn't cover her body, and she didn't care that her plump body was pressing hard on his back. No matter what he said, Zhuo Jingxi didn't plan to let go. Her mind couldn't contain any other thoughts. She only thought, it's over. Chen Guang is going to be driven crazy. I can't let him do stupid things. Because of Chen Guang's excessive anger and agitation, his adrenaline was being secreted violently. This caused his body to violently tremble, which further confirmed Zhuo Jingxi's guess. Zhuo Jingxi hated herself for being so useless. She blamed herself even more. If it wasn't for her, Chen Guang wouldn't have met Wang Ren in the first place. If he didn't start a feud with Wang Ren in the Building Loop Academy, there wouldn't have been such a thing. Originally, Wang Ren had already disappeared from everyone's lives, but it was she who called Chen Guang to her laboratory, which allowed Wang Ren to appear in front of Chen Guang again. Like a bolt of lightning striking the ground, the two of them were destined to have many conflicts when they met. All of this is my fault. If it wasn't for me, he would still be that simple and innocent university student. He would still be the cheerful Chen Guang who didn't care about anything. Now, he's going to kill someone. He's going to kill someone. He's still so young. Whether it's as his friend or his teacher, even if I have to sacrifice my life, I can't just watch him walk on this road of no return. This is murder. Let go. I won't let go. Even if you break my hand, I won't let go. I won't let go even if I die. Chen Guang tried to struggle, but he found that Zhuo Jingxi's 10 fingers were tightly clasped in front of him. If he didn't use force, he wouldn't be able to break free. But if he did that, she would definitely be injured. Why are you stopping me? Let go of me, okay? I promise I won't leave any evidence behind. I have a way to kill without spilling blood. It's just killing someone, it's not as serious as you think. Zhuo Jingxi bit down hard on Qin Guang's shoulder. Even though Qin Guang was tough, the bite still hurt. Before he could speak, Zhuo Jingxi let go first. What are you saying? Are you crazy? What do you mean it's just killing someone? I can't talk to you, I can't. Let go of me first. Dream on. Zhuo Jingxi didn't know where she got the strength from, but she pulled him from behind and flipped him over onto the bed. She flipped over again and sat on top of Qin Guang. What are you doing? Teacher Zhuo. With the moonlight shining in from the window, Chen Guang could vaguely see Zhuo Jingxi's expression, which was even more ferocious than his own. The anger that was burning in his heart just now quickly faded, but the secretion of adrenaline became even stronger. Zhuo Jingxi was sitting on his waist, and the two of them were inevitably rubbing together. When Chen Guang saw her movements again, a certain part of him couldn't stop reacting. Zhuo Jingxi felt something hard under his body, but she didn't flinch at all. Her legs used even more strength to ride him. Nothing. You shut up. As she spoke, she picked up the silk pajamas from her waist. Less than 2 seconds later, she threw the pajamas to the side of the bed. At this moment, the young and beautiful body was completely exposed under the cold and elegant moonlight. Her snow-white skin reflected the bright light, dazzling Qin Guang's eyes. The beautiful breasts of the tall, plump, and round young woman suddenly burst out. What was she trying to do? You? Aren't you very capable? Aren't you not afraid of killing people? Come on. Come at me. Aren't you a man? Aren't you very manly? Come on. Come at me like a man. Why are you daydreaming? Don't be a coward if you're a man. I can't deal with you today, can I? Are you going crazy? Zhuo Jingxi glared fiercely at Qin Guang. Come on. I'll go crazy with you. Wasn't it just a small setback? Don't you understand that the future is long? Wang Lin could escape for a while, but could he escape for the rest of his life? You're still so young, how could you foolishly think about killing people? Didn't you think about the consequences? Are you going to be able to face your parents and the people who care about you? As she spoke, she grabbed Qin Guang's palm and pressed it against her chest. A mysterious sensation came from his palm. It was plump and delicate. Chen Guang was completely stunned. Chapter 422. Teachers, don't be like this, don't be like this. Chen Guang understood what Zhuo Jingxi was thinking. She was really afraid that he would kill someone, so she wanted to use her method to calm him down. This method of hers was invincible. It was unstoppable. All right, he didn't actually want to block it. As long as he was a man, he couldn't block it. This move was too ruthless. Chen Guang's hands weren't tied up. If he exerted force, he could break free. But how could a person fight against the most genuine desire in the depths of his heart? That soft and velvety touch felt so real. In the night sky, her skin was cold yet delicate. Countless goosebumps appeared on his skin, urging the most genuine desire in the depths of his heart. Whether it was his body or his soul, they were all warning him that if he dared to pull his hands away, he would break his own arms. He had been a virgin for almost 21 years. The theoretical knowledge he had learned from the small films could be said to be knowledgeable, but his actual combat experience was basically zero. Every time he woke up in the middle of the night and wet his pants, he would fantasize more than once that one day he would be able to fight for real. That was every normal man's dream. How could he withstand Zhuo Jingxi's presumptuous and direct assault now? Of course, if it was another person, such as a rouge girl who suddenly rushed out of the street and said, "Brother, 150 for the night," Qin Guang wouldn't really lose his composure. But this was Zhuo Jingxi. She wasn't a random girl he didn't know. She was someone he had known for a long time and knew through and through. He had even secretly peeped at her countless times. He still remembered the first time she walked into the classroom and appeared in front of everyone as the new counselor. The entire class of boys who had been making a ruckus just a second ago were shocked into silence by her appearance. Her maturity and beauty, her voluptuous and tall figure, every unintentional movement of hers could unconsciously tug at the heartstrings in the boys' hearts. Moreover, the self-proclaimed unparalleled Lord Guang was actually a blank piece of paper when it came to the matters between men and women. Zhuo Jingxi was about to ruthlessly draw a thick and heavy stroke on this blank piece of paper. I've said it before. Don't call me teacher Zhuo. Call me Jingxi. I'm not qualified to be your teacher, because I like you. Zhuo Jingxi felt that she had never been so brave in her life. Are you looking down on me? Are there too many charming girls around you? I know that I'm not as cute as Sun Xiaoxuan, I'm not as heroic as Wu Tong, and I'm not as outstanding as Lu Fei, who can help you a lot. I'm even less qualified to be mentioned in the same breath as Jin Shiyue. I'm just a terrible woman who always brings you trouble. I'm just that bad, and I'm just that unremarkable. I'm even your teacher. I shouldn't have any extravagant hopes for you. But I have no choice. I don't know why, but I really like you. You think I didn't notice you peeking at my chest that day in my office? Actually, I knew everything. I just wanted to show it to you. Do you think I'm terrible right now? Do you think there's such a shameless woman in this world? But it doesn't matter, I don't care at all. At least for now, I don't want you to leave this bedroom. She really said a lot in one breath, and every word struck Chen Guang's heart. Her hands were so forceful that even Chen Guang was worried about hurting her. No, I didn't think that way. I don't understand the situation right now. Why don't you let me take a shower and calm down first? Chen Guang said with a trembling voice. He still wanted to escape. This was his last struggle. If I let you escape now, will you still come back? I'm not a child anymore. I understand these things. Don't think that I'm being impulsive. I've already planned this. Don't worry, I won't regret it. But no buts. This time, it was Zhuo Jingxi's turn to be angry. Didn't you say arrogantly that you wanted to provide for me? You're scared at the last moment? Isn't what I'm doing now part of my job as a mistress? That's just a lie to trick your parents, Chen Guang argued. Zhuo Jingxi smiled. But they believe it and so do I. Whether you believe it or not, we all believe it anyway. Come on. Today is the right time. From tonight onwards, you'll be a man, and I'll be a real woman. As she spoke, she reached down and pinched the top of Chen Guang's pants. She continued to pull it down and pinched it hard. I want to see how long you can hold on. Don't grit your teeth and hold on. Aren't you full of energy? Aren't you so emotional that you want to kill someone? Come on, use your murderous courage on me. You're not even afraid of killing someone. So why are you afraid of a woman like me? Chen Guang really admitted defeat. If he had known that after losing control of his emotions in front of Zhuo Jingxi tonight, she would have developed such determination and become like this, he would definitely not be so stupid as to say the true thoughts deep in his heart in front of her. He would have chosen to quietly get up and run away, then wring Wang Ren's neck. Dear teacher Zhuo, you're my teacher. It's because I respect my teacher that I want to vent my jealousy in front of you. That's because I respect my teacher, but I really didn't expect you to calm me down like this. I regret it so much. But there's no medicine for regret. In the face of Zhuo Jingxi's wave after wave of attacks, he couldn't resist. He was not a saint at all. He was Wu Tong and Tang Ying's perverted younger brother, a perverted boy who would look into Zhuo Jingxi's collar whenever he got the chance. He was a perverted classmate who would be so excited about a bet with Wenwen that he couldn't sleep for days. He was a perverted brother who would regret letting Lu Fei go in Xiangjiang time and time again. He was a perverted savior who would complain about Jiang Ye's teasing in his heart while putting his hand into her collar to take a Patek Philippe from her. It wasn't that the National Army wasn't interested, but that the Communist Army wasn't strong enough. All right, Zhuo Jingxi was strong enough today. Something big happened. Feeling his pants being ripped off and thrown off the bed, Chen Guang silently turned his face to the side. This is so King embarrassing. I can easily flip over and throw her off the bed, but every inch of my bones and muscles is singing in excitement. His adrenaline, which had never stopped, once again exploded. Teacher Zhua, do you really have to call me teacher? Do you like it? Well, today I'll give you the most important lesson in your life, my perverted student. As Zhuo Jingxi spoke, she threw away the last triangular restraint on her body and grabbed his hand. Oh my God! Oh my God! I swear I'll never let any woman see the old man's weak side in the future. Chen Guang silently shed 2 lines of tears. He never thought that the old man's reputation would be destroyed in a moment like this. At first, he resisted, lost, and confused. She was in pain, but she took the initiative, but she was also reserved. When it really happened, she also felt that it was unbelievable, but she didn't feel the slightest bit of regret or fear in her heart. Later, his eyes turned red, and he used all his strength to transform into a huge wave on the coast, wave after wave crashing against the stone crevices on the shore. He didn't want it to be like this, but not everything and every emotion could be controlled. Just as Zhuo Jingxi hoped, he turned the resentment and unwillingness he had hidden in his heart these days into external emotions and released them ruthlessly. Chen Guang clearly went from passive to active, and his attacks became fiercer and fiercer, but Zhuo Jingxi's pain gradually disappeared. Under the impact of the waves day after day, year after year, her will melted like snow and melted into a river of spring water. She no longer thought about what the two of them would be like in the future, and she no longer thought about all the possible or real competitors. Fragments of such thoughts occasionally appeared in her mind. Why do I think so much? Anyway, I'm also a kept woman, right? Anyway, that's what Mom and Dad both hoped for, right? Very soon, her thoughts would be shattered by round after round of impact, and she might as well not think about anything else. After a long time, the clouds dispersed, and the thin blanket had long been kicked to the ground. Zhuo Jingxi lay on the bed weakly, hugging Chen Guang's neck. Her breathing was still heavy, her face was flushed, and her sweat soaked the bedsheets. Are you tired? If you're tired, let's sleep? Chen Guang said gently. You really don't mean what you say. You say you want me to sleep, but your hands aren't honest at all. Zhuo Jingxi grabbed Chen Guang's hand that was on her chest. Chen Guang's face turned red. You can't blame me for this. This is Vanderwa's power, I can't control it at all. Is that so? You're using Vanderwa's power? Then, please let my photocatalyst purify the dirty pollutants in your body again. After a short rest with her tired body, Zhuo Jingxi felt that he had recovered, and she actually turned around and mounted him again. Why don't you rest? You're already very tired, Chen Guang exclaimed. Zhuo Jingxi smiled charmingly. You're wrong. Women don't get tired when it comes to this kind of thing. I'm going to purify you completely. Let's see if you still dare to have murderous thoughts in your head. Come on. Don't you want to kill someone? Come and stab me to death. F***ck. This time, not only was Chen Guang blind, but he was also deaf. Is this still the Zhuo Jingxi I know? No matter how I looked at it, I didn't see such a dirty soul in the righteous teacher Zhuo's head. Actually, Chen Guang also knew that Zhuo Jingxi really planned to exhaust all his energy tonight, so that he would no longer have the mood and fighting spirit to kill Wang Ren. She was doing this for his own good. But could he say thank you for this kind of thing? Of course not. Although I have low EQ, I understand that there's no reason to say thank you to a woman for this kind of thing. It was impossible to say that he wasn't touched. But Chen Guang also knew that if Zhuo Jingxi didn't really like him as she said, no matter how big of a reason she had, she wouldn't have done this kind of thing. The small pool of blood that dotted the bedsheet, and Zhuo Jingxi's unfamiliarity, like an 80-year-old old man who opened League of Legends for the first time, proved that this was also her first time. Please call me Emperor Kai Huang. Sigh, I really owe him too much. How can this old man be worthy of this? I can't say that. Since things have already come to this, I can only bite the bullet and admit it. Great Lord, please believe me. I, Chen Guang, am really an upright person. As he muttered in his heart, he flipped his body over like a surf, his claws reaching for the bedside table. He had made perhaps the best and worst decision of his life. After tossing and turning for an hour, the old man was a little thirsty, so he drank some water to calm his nerves. Then he grabbed the heavenly Holy Grail. Chapter 423. On average, humans drank 1.5 liters of water a day, which was about 38.5 tons of water in their lifetime. Chen Guang was a person who liked to drink water because he exercised a lot. Drinking water was such a common thing, but he had done it in a different way. 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 Of course, sometimes what awaited him could be a pit. Up to this day, there had been a lot of trouble because he was unprepared when drinking water. For example, the inexplicable pencil sharpening realm, and the even more inexplicable brass fireworks Qilin arm. But there had never been a time when he felt the feeling of his soul leaving his body, and his heart was so flustered. My good sister, my 7th uncle, my 8th aunt, I was just thirsty and wanted to drink a glass of water, but I really didn't expect it to be like this. Who would take precautions when they wanted to drink water, and who would care about what they were doing? As long as they didn't drink water while squatting, wouldn't it be fine if they didn't become the king of anal prolapse? Normal people wouldn't squat and drink water at the same time, okay? Then the problem was, drinking water while doing something shameful with someone, and then entering the cup world, what kind of situation would he face? Chen Guang wasn't worried about this matter in the past. After all, he was an old virgin, a great magic guide, and a single dog that was tortured by those lovey-dovey scum every day. He didn't even have the slightest shyness, so who would be so bored as to worry about entering the world of cups at the right time? At least before today, before it really happened, he absolutely didn't think of it. He did occasionally imagine that one day, as handsome and domineering as he was, sooner or later, he would also get rid of the shameful ranks of the sorcerers, and become a winner in life who no longer needed a small piece of cake and waved goodbye to the 5 girls. After all, with the old man's handsomeness and cheekiness, he couldn't be a bachelor all his life. Sooner or later, he would become a master. The person who spent the first night with him must be an earth-shattering beauty. She must have a pair of big, watery eyes, and a waist that was more flexible and graceful than a water snake. Her chest couldn't be too small, and she couldn't be too thin because there was no meat. She also couldn't be too fat because there was no fat. She also had a good personality. She had to be able to go to the main hall and the kitchen. She gave me enough face outside, and at home, she was able to get along well with me. Most importantly, she had to be a woman. Well, actually, it was fine as long as she was a girl. Today, the day of his dreams had suddenly arrived. Although it was sudden and he was caught off guard, he was still satisfied. Without Zhuojingxi, she wouldn't have met Wang Ren, Zhuojingxi wouldn't have fallen in love with Chen Guang, and Wang Ren wouldn't have hated Chen Guang. Without these reasons, when Chen Guang was feeling down today, Zhuojingxi wouldn't have taken the initiative to drag Chen Guang's distress into her heart and made up her mind to calm Chen Guang's overly excited and angry mood today. Everything was perfect until he took a sip of the water. Yo, young man, you're living a comfortable life, huh? Liuli was still sitting in front of her computer. She didn't even raise her head, but there was an unmistakable sense of mockery in her tone. Chen Guang looked at Liuli from afar and didn't dare to approach her. He should have a clear conscience, but he always felt that her words were sinister and meaningful. My soul is standing at the top of this white and flawless sea of clouds, but my body is doing such a shameful thing outside. This feeling is too strange. Let me enter the world in the cup at another time. Can we discuss this properly? Of course not. The Holy Grail never reasoned with him. At this moment, as far as Chen Guang could see, there were 3 magnificent and majestic statues of gods, a pencil that pierced the clouds, a white piano that was more than 100 meters long and wide, and a half alto that seemed to have gone through the vicissitudes of life and was filled with the aura of history. White threads that blotted out the sky spread out from the endless void and wrapped around the 3 statues like nebula chains. From the tip of the pencil, the leftmost key of the piano, and the left headlight of the alto, 3 thick streams of pure white aura were suddenly pulled out and shot into the clouds. They gathered in the sky above the sea of clouds and turned into a beam of strong light that fell from the sky, shining directly on Liuli's computer. This woman was still naked. She had been busy a while ago, and she seemed to have some idea of what she was going to do, but was she addicted to not wearing clothes? There were clearly 3 statues here, and the power of faith that they provided should be enough to make some clothes, but she actually threw it all on the computer. But then again, she said that I'm living a comfortable life? Could it be that she was watching me from the beginning to the end? Damn, so shameful. Liuli rolled her eyes at him. Can you just let your imagination run wild like this? This empress has so many things to deal with every day. How would I have the time to care about this trivial matter between mortals? She was really thick-skinned, Qin Guang thought in his heart. Do you know what position you, little brat, have in my heart? Again, this emperor is really tall. Your head is too small. Look at this 3-inch piece of meat. I really can't arouse the slightest bit of interest in you. You don't even have the size to communicate with me. Save your breath. He didn't know if it was because Liuli had watched too many violent manga recently, but her words were more and more venomous and presumptuous. The time to be dragged into the next level of the world in the cup was getting closer and closer. Chen Guang didn't have the mood to dawdle with her anymore, so he moved a little closer. My dearest Liuli, can you tell me a little bit about what the world in the cup is? To be honest, I'm really panicking right now. Liuli finally raised her hand and made a pushing gesture. You damn pervert, stay away from me, don't dirty this empress's eyes. Please lower your head a little and have a little bit of shame, okay? Are you pointing a gun at this lady to scare people? Qin Guang lowered his head. *CK, after all this time, not only was Liuli not wearing clothes, I actually wasn't wearing anything either. At least she still had some clouds to cover her embarrassment. My King indomitable spirit halberd was going to eat people? Oh no, eat gods. I'll give you 3 seconds to turn around quickly, or else you'll have to wait to say goodbye to your little penis. This empress is really busy right now. I don't have time to deal with you. Just as she finished speaking, a roar came from the computer's sound system. Holy shit! A super godly massacre? Wasn't it rather busy? Can we not joke around? Can you be a little more considerate of me? I'm really nervous right now. The heavenly holy grail is too reckless. How can it let me enter the world in the cup at this time? I'm not King convinced. Liuli chuckled. Do you really want to know what it is? Really? Alright then, I'll tell you. What is it? Guess you're King? Before Chen Guang could finish his words, he was sucked into the test world of the world in the cup with a whoosh. When Chen Guang disappeared, Liuli, who had been sitting in front of the computer, suddenly had a gloomy expression. She gritted her teeth and didn't say anything, only slapping her own computer table. Bang. My computer. My super godly. My lustrous feather robe. Gone again. It was still that familiar time-space tunnel. Chen Guang kept flying forward with his head pointed. He really wished that this tunnel was a little longer, then he would have more time to think about life. If it's really what I'm most worried about, how should I face the rest of my life? I'm clearly determined to be an upright gentleman. Why do I have to face such a dismal fate? I resisted the temptation again and again in the journey of life, whether it was a 150 renminbi overnight booking, a 400 renminbi fast food, a 1,500 renminbi business, or even an 8,000 renminbi entertainment. Even if I had more than 100 million in cash in my pocket, I never had any crooked thoughts. My purity moved the heavens and the earth. A man like me could make Lu Xiaohui feel ashamed of his inferiority in ancient times. It was only today that I fell for Teacher Zhu's sneak attack for the first time. I haven't even tasted the sweetness of it, yet you, heavenly holy grail, want me to plunge into such a dirty and shameful cup world? It can't be, right? This is really the old man's first time. You still need to have a little bit of integrity, right? If you have something to say, then we can still be friends, right? Mother f***er. You're playing for real. When Chen Guang really appeared in this new model that couldn't be described, couldn't be looked at directly, and couldn't be divulged in the cup. I just wanted to sing a song. The boundless horizon is my love. Flowers bloom at the foot of the continuous green mountains. Covering my face, covering my eyes, I can't see the vast expanse of whiteness between the sky and the earth. I can't see the countless plains at the end of the mountains and the sea. Cup, can't you at least give me a real person? Do you really want to do this, heavenly holy grail? There are so many of them, I can't even count them all, and they're even clearly marked with impact strength from 1 to 99999. What are you trying to do? Besides, there's too many of them. 99999. Yes, I didn't see it wrong, it really is a 5-digit number. Can I get out of here alive? Chen Guang used to think that after obtaining the heavenly holy grail, he would definitely embark on the path of being the master of all living things, a domineering, cool, and nature-defying path that could change the world at any moment. Now, the heavenly holy grail was getting more and more powerful, and he had also mastered more and more cool skills. But he never expected that he would suddenly have a dream in the middle of the night and be dragged into the ditch by the heavenly holy grail again. This ditch was so deep that the bottom couldn't be seen. I've been really honest recently, why do you have to treat me like this? Do you really have to do this? I don't seem to have a choice, right? Do it, bang. When a certain cup marked with impact strength 99,999 exploded, the emotionless electronic voice of the heavenly holy grail came from the sky. Pass, mission completed, the Redeemer has become the strongest pile driver in history. When thinking of specific adjectives, the omnipotent heavenly holy grail was stuck for a moment. Chen Guang's tears raised the surface of the lake within a radius of several hundred feet by a few meters. That's right, these were really tears and nothing else. After all, this was the world within a cup. Mercifully, he was only given a gun and not a bullet. Otherwise, he would have died 9,999 times. I don't want this title. I don't want to become the strongest pile driver in history. Chapter 424. He wailed in his heart. Although my body has been tainted, my soul is still upright. The heavenly holy grail did not waste any more words with him and sent him back to the sea of clouds in the next instant. After this farewell, when he saw Liuli again, it felt like a lifetime had passed. Chen Guang fell to the ground with a plop and did not want to move. Madame Liuli, my life has been ruined. Liuli, who was painstakingly rebuilding the computer, glared at him. No, your life has just begun. Chen Guang's face turned pale. Is that so? Is this my new life? Am I going to embark on the endless road of a pile driver in the future? Don't. Liuli shook her head again. It's nothing. You'll understand when you get out. Good luck. As soon as she finished speaking, Chen Guang exited the world in the cup. He was still holding the cup in his hand and had not even swallowed the water in his mouth when he felt an indescribable stimulation in his lower body. Unconsciously, it started vibrating at an extremely high frequency. It was no joke. The frequency of the vibration seemed to be 3 times higher than the Qilin arm Zhuojingxi, who was lying on the bed with her back facing him, screamed and fell forward. In an instant, there was no sound. *CK. Chen Guang thought of the cup that he had exploded in the world in the cup and his heart skipped a beat. Something big had happened. He immediately covered his mouth with his hand to prevent himself from screaming out loud. Curry. Wash the motor. GG, Sumida. Someone was going to die. He hurriedly lay down to see what was going on and murmured, Sister Jingxi. His heartbeat was also ridiculously fast. Of course, there was no problem with breathing. He pried open her legs and examined them carefully. Fortunately, there was no explosion or blood. It was the normal kind. In short, there was no problem. He could not say more. Chen Guang heaved a long sigh of relief. Thank God, she fell forward too quickly and the kinetic energy had not accumulated to a terrifying level. The temperature did not rise either. It seemed that she was not injured. But why was she foaming at the mouth? He tried to shake her for a minute or two, but there was no movement. Zhuojingxi showed no signs of waking up at all. When he opened her eyes, it was all white. It was extremely frightening. Chen Guang straightened his body, his face full of confusion. What the F***ck should he do? Who can tell me what to do? Has anyone encountered such a situation before? It was completely impossible. He lowered his head and looked at the spot on the bed that he was facing when he laid down. Damn it, why is there a hole as big as my dick? I didn't even feel it. I was only lying there for 10 seconds. What the hell is this hole? This was the Bai mattress that was famous for its quality. Lowering his head, Chen Guang looked at the thief, who was gradually scared out of his wits, and understood what Lu Li meant by wishing him luck. Has the old man become a human weapon? Although he knew that the products from the world in a cup would definitely be of the highest quality, but now that he had turned it into a diamond and turned it into the strongest pile driver in the world, it was too strong. Zhuo Jingxi did not wake up, and Chen Guang's heart was in his throat. He was completely unprepared for this. Forget it, he had to hurry and send her to the hospital. He quickly got up and put on his clothes, then wrapped Zhuo Jingxi up, and carried her on his back, ready to go out. When he opened the bedroom door, a limp body suddenly slumped on the floor. Ah! Before Chen Guang could say anything, the person who fell in first cried out in shock. Chen Guang's face darkened. Lingshan, what are you doing? Fan Lingshan's face immediately turned as red as a ripe apple. No, nothing, I was just passing by. Passing by? I almost believed you. Forget it, I won't talk to you anymore. Stay at home and stay. I'll send Sister Jingxi to the hospital. Fan Lingshan exclaimed, Oh my God. Brother, so fierce? Aren't you just passing by? Kids shouldn't care about adults' matters. I'm leaving. Chen Guang did not want to waste time with Fan Lingshan at this time, so he carried Zhuo Jingxi downstairs in a flash. Kids nowadays were really not reserved at all. They could even do something like eavesdropping. Chen Guang had forgotten that he was actually only in his 3rd year and about to enter his 4th year. He was only 2 years ahead of Fan Lingshan. Fortunately, although Zhuo Jingxi still did not wake up after going downstairs, her heartbeat and breathing had gradually calmed down. She was only sleeping like a drunkard. Although Chen Guang did not know medicine, seeing that her condition was gradually stabilizing, he felt a little more at ease. That incident just now had really scared him out of his wits. Damn it, if I had known earlier, I would have studied medicine. As the owner of the Holy Grail, a man shrouded in the halo of a protagonist, it was not too much to ask that I know medicine, right? At least give me a needle and some random inner force, and I'll just poke it into a person's body. Duong, wouldn't that be enough? Alright, this was actually too much. It was not that the Holy Grail was incompetent, but that its level was too low. At least there was no hope of seeing the spirit. Driving the phaeton on the road, he thought to himself, where is the nearest big hospital? Whatever, I can't go to Wujing City Hospital. He kept reminding himself, I can't go to the city hospital. That place is poisonous. I definitely can't go. F***ck me. Why did I still drive here? Looking at the huge signboard of Wujing City Hospital shining brightly under the night lights, Chen Guang slapped himself. I clearly wanted to not come here, but unknowingly, I still feel that this is the closest and most reliable place. Forget it, since I'm already here, I can't just coincidentally bump into Sister Tanging every time, right? The current situation was definitely extremely awkward. Chen Guang stopped the car and jogged all the way to the emergency hall with Zhuo Jingxi on his back. As soon as he entered the door, he realized that he was fighting in the wilderness. What he was afraid of really happened. Tang Ying, dressed in casual clothes, walked over. She seemed to have just gotten off work as well. She looked up and saw Chen Guang rushing in with Zhuo Jingxi on his back. Chen Guang? What are you doing here in the middle of the night? Tang Ying walked quickly and came closer to take a look. Who is this? What's wrong? Chen Guang ignored her and continued to rush in. Nothing, it's just a small problem, a small problem. Small problem? Tang Ying was in disbelief. No matter how fast Chen Guang walked, she ran as fast as he did. She looked at the side of the unconscious Zhuo Jingxi's face. Tang Ying pondered. This was a very beautiful girl, probably about the same age as her. There seemed to be a strange blush on her face. Although she was being carried on Qin Guang's back, she could see that her figure was very good. She was tall and voluptuous. There's something fishy about these two. Tang Ying rolled her eyes and looked at Qin Guang, who was running away in a panic. She snorted inwardly. Your acting is terrible. It's already so late, and the situation seems urgent. Let me help you. Tang Ying followed Qin Guang into the emergency clinic. Qin Guang wanted to reject her at first, but when he entered the clinic, he found that there were 3 male doctors sitting in the emergency room. He was at his wit's end. As the Buddha said, if I don't go to hell, who will? Half an hour later, Zhuo Jingxi was settled and slowly regained consciousness. Before Qin Guang could enter the ward to ask what was going on, Tang Ying put down what she was doing and came out to stop him. She looked at Qin Guang with a playful expression. Young man, you're living a good life. Qin Guang's mouth twitched. That sounded familiar. No, there's nothing good. What's wrong with her? She suddenly fainted for no reason. Let me go in and see what's going on? Qin Guang lied through his teeth. Tang Ying first took a deep breath, then suddenly stepped on Qin Guang's foot. Ow, it was the middle of the night, and they were in the inpatient department. Qin Guang endured the pain and did not dare to scream. His lungs were about to explode. Tang Ying was not satisfied after stepping on his foot. She reached out and poked his forehead with her finger again and again. You're pretending. Continue pretending. What do you mean by suddenly fainting for no reason? The person standing in front of you is Tang Ying. She's the most advanced individual in Wujing City's hospital this month. She's the miracle doctor who won an average of 1 silk banner every month. Tang Ying. You think you can hide it from me? Qin Guang hung his head dejectedly. I can't hide it anymore. Big sister, can you just tell me what's going on? I'm really worried. Now you're worried? Didn't you faint for no reason just like me? Why don't you give me another one for no reason? Tang Ying's finger kept poking his forehead without stopping. Qin Guang was depressed. He did not know why, but after being lectured by Tang Ying, he could not muster up his courage. After venting her anger, Tang Ying finally calmed down and resumed the appearance of a doctor. All right, I'll tell you. The patient's condition is due to an overly intense stimulation in an extremely short period of time, causing the excessive secretion of hormones, which further leads to the impact of consciousness. The body, in order to protect itself, cut off its thoughts in a short period of time, which is the phenomenon of fainting that you saw. To put it bluntly, he was overly excited when he was having sex. There won't be any sequelae, right? Is there any physical injury? Qin Guang asked as he shrank his neck. Tang Ying rolled her eyes at him. I was almost injured. All right, stop quibbling. I know it's you who did it. Let's not talk about anything else. Don't you think you're too inconsiderate of the fairer sex? She was just having a melon today. Can't you be a little more restrained? I used to think that you were a good person, but today I realized that I was really blind. Qin Guang panicked. What do you mean by that? Nothing. Haven't you been busy making life difficult for Wang Ren and Su Lijing? To think that I was worried about you when I saw you getting beaten up like that a few days ago. Tell me, what's your relationship with the patient? Tell me clearly. Tang Ying said with her hands on her hips. Actually, she was in no position to ask Qin Guang about this matter. So, the moment the words left her mouth, she also realized that something was wrong. Wu Tong, let me watch you. Tell me the truth, and I'll be lenient. Resistance will be severe. Qin Guang sighed. Sigh, it's a long story. It's hard to explain in a few words. If it's hard to explain in a few words, then say it in 10,000 words. Anyway, if you don't tell me clearly today, I won't let you go, Tang Ying said. Seeing that he could not avoid it, Qin Guang told Tang Ying everything that had happened in the past few days, from when he left the hospital to when Su Lijing finally made his move yesterday. He told Tang Ying everything that had happened. Chapter 425. Yesterday, I was so disheartened that I was about to go crazy. You know that I've killed past Jiao and the other bandits, so I'm really capable. Yesterday, I planned to kill Wang Lin by myself. Before Chen Guang could finish, Tang Ying pushed him hard. Are you crazy? Chen Guang's eyes widened. Damn, that sounded familiar. Oh, don't be rash. I don't have that thought anymore. I really don't. He quickly explained. Tang Ying patted her chest. That's good. I'll continue. At that time, I didn't think it through and blurted it out to Teacher Zhua. That's right, she's my class counselor. Actually, that's how my conflict with Wang Lin came about. Chen Guang spoke for about 10 minutes before he clearly explained everything from beginning to end. Tang Ying smacked her lips. In other words, you and Wang Lin had nothing to do with each other, but because of you, Teacher Zhua, you became enemies with him. Then, in the middle of the night, your brain short-circuited and you went crazy. You wanted to kill someone, so Zhua Jingxi used this method to stop you, right? Chen Guang nodded. That's right. Fine, she succeeded. It's all my fault. I'm too weak. Sigh. Tang Ying sighed. She didn't know if she should blame Chen Guang for what happened. Zhua Jingxi did nothing wrong. As for Chen Guang, he was actually a hot-blooded, normal boy. He seemed to be a virgin, so it was understandable that he couldn't resist the temptation. No matter who it was understandable that they would be depressed in such a situation. Seeing that Chen Guang was still depressed, Tang Ying comforted him. Don't blame yourself too much. It's not your fault. Relationships between men and women are about mutual consent. Zhua Jingxi is quite pretty, so she must like you too. It's normal that you couldn't resist it. It's really an ill-fated relationship. I don't know what to do now. After messing around for so long, there was finally someone willing to talk to him. With his shoulders slumped, Chen Guang helplessly replied, I never expected that things would turn out like this. What should I do in the future? Bah. Do you think I don't know how happy your little brother is right now? Tang Ying stepped on his foot again. Chen Guang jumped. It's beautiful, but I'm still very confused. Perplexed? Isn't it enough for you to do it once? Why did he do it a second time, and it almost made his soul leave his body? What a green lotus in the pharmacy. How fierce were you at that time? As Tang Ying spoke, she glanced down at Chen Guang's lower body. Her face reddened as she recalled the unspeakable night they had spent together. She thought to herself, that bastard looks quite ferocious. That night, I almost broke my hand from exhaustion. Maybe he really is that terrifying. This. Chen Guang sighed again. It's a long story. Where do you get so many things from? It's a long story. Chen Guang lifted his head to look at her. His mind was spinning. What kind of words should I use to tell her that I've become the strongest pile driver in history? Wouldn't this be too sci-fi? Would she think that I'm crazy? I can't tell her about the world in the cup. So, what should I say? After doing push-ups with my little penis every day for 3 months, I've become bald and stronger? But I'm not bald. Seeing the constipated expression on his face, Tang Ying suddenly thought of something. Her face paled and she said, Could it be, huh? Chen Guang stared at her, thinking, What's wrong with your imagination? Why do you look like you've thought of a solution for me? Tang Ying pounced on him, grabbing his shoulders. Could it be that the medicine from last time, huh? The medicine from last time? At this moment, Chen Guang vaguely sensed something. Tang Ying continued, Tell me the truth. Did the combination of your father's super mighty tonic soup and the imported medicine from the United States that I got you cause a huge problem? You're really good at imagining things. But this excuse is really great. I was just fretting about how to come up with a story, and you've actually thought of this for me. Well then leave the rest to me. Chen Guang felt that his acting skills had never exploded like this before. He turned his head slightly, his face full of melancholy and endless loneliness. That's right, that night was actually just the beginning. It's just that I found it hard to talk about it later, so I didn't want to tell you. I really don't know what kind of changes happened to my body after the two medicines were mixed together. But anyway, you muted it. I became very, very strong. Don't pity me, don't pity me. This is my fate, and I accept the punishment of fate. I must have done too many wrong things in my previous life, let down too many women, and that's why I have to suffer this kind of torture in this life. I don't blame you, and I don't blame my dad. Who knows the secrets of the human body? Who would have thought that the two medicines would be so terrifying after being mixed together? Tang Ying sucked in a breath of cold air. She was frightened by Chen Guang's gaze, which was filled with despair. How terrifying is it? Chen Guang thought for a moment. Have you seen the pile driver used in construction? Tang Ying nodded. Chen Guang shrugged. That's it. I don't believe it. Tang Ying said, raising her voice. Chen Guang curled his lips. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not. Anyway, it's like this. All right, let's not talk about it anymore. I'll go see Teacher Zhua. Oh no, Sister Jingxi. After saying that, he left Tang Ying and entered the ward. Zhua Jingxi heard the door open and opened her eyes slightly. She looked at him and smiled. Chen Guang sat by the bedside, so nervous that he didn't know where to put his hands. Sister Jingxi, I'm really sorry. Zhua Jingxi smiled again. Why are you saying sorry to me? Haven't I always been the one taking the initiative? I should be the one saying sorry. I was planning to squeeze all your energy tonight, but I didn't expect myself to be so useless. Chen Guang said, No. It's not your problem. Zhua Jingxi raised her hand tiredly and gently stroked his face. Then she squeezed his hand. This isn't the time to discuss whose problem it is. Anyway, promise me that you won't go looking for Wang Lin, okay? Chen Guang said, Okay, I won't go looking for him tonight. That's good. I'm a little sleepy. The doctor told me to have a good rest. Tomorrow morning, the gynecology department will be working. After a checkup, I can go back. I'll sleep first. You go back to school and rest. Don't worry about me, Zhua Jingxi said again and quickly closed her eyes. She was really tired. In less than 10 seconds, she started snoring. Chen Guang sat by the side for a while. Things had happened in a hurry today. Zhua Jingxi wasn't in the intensive care unit and there were other patients in the room. If Chen Guang wanted to sleep, he would have to move the spring bed under the hospital bed. He was lying on the floor and moving it quietly when Tang Ying's head popped out from the door and blinked at him. I thought you went home. Why haven't you left yet? Chen Guang put down what he was doing and leaned over to whisper. However, Tang Ying grabbed him by the collar and pulled him out. What are you doing? Chen Guang asked as he was dragged out. Tang Ying's face was full of worry. I feel that what you said is too mysterious. It's making me feel uneasy. Come to my dorm and I'll give you a checkup. Chen Guang was reluctant. What's there to check? I've really mutated. Mutated. To put it bluntly, it's called superpower. I don't care what the theory is. Anyway, it's already like this. You can't ask me to cut it off and grow a new one, right? Tang Ying spat at him. Tui tui tui. Do you think you're a gecko? Cut it off and you'll grow a new one? The more I think about it, the more I feel that something is wrong. Zhua Jingxi's symptoms, even the most powerful machine. Alright, don't look at me like that. Even a toy doesn't have this power. I don't believe that you can do it. Don't worry about Zhua Jingxi. She's just exhausted from the stimulation. She'll be fine when she wakes up tomorrow morning. You're the one who's going to cause endless trouble. Don't dawdle, come with me. How dare you look down on me? Even Bai Mattress died under my knife. You're the one who forced me to do this. Chen Guang said as Tang Ying pulled him into the dormitory room. Tang Ying pressed him down on the stool. She didn't hold back and prepared to crawl on his pants. She only felt that if Chen Guang really underwent a mutation as he said, then she wouldn't be able to absolve herself from the blame since she was the one that provided the first batch of the Vitality Recovery Tonic and imported healthcare medicine. Whether it was his identity as Wu Tong's younger brother or her own friend, Tang Ying felt really bad about it. Besides, they were strangers the first time around, and as the saying goes, doctors have the heart of a parent. Tang Ying had no qualms about taking off his pants. However, Chen Guang pushed her hand away. He got up and picked up a useless piece of plywood from the corner of the room. He grinned. No matter how you look at it, this is how it is. It's time to show my true strength. As he spoke, he approached Tang Ying with the plywood in his hand. Tang Ying took a step back, but her back was pressed against the wall. She had nowhere to go. What are you trying to do? Chen Guang grinned again. Sister Tang Ying, it's time to witness a miracle. As he spoke, he moved a little closer, and their bodies were almost stuck together. Do me a favor and give me a little stimulation, but I promise I don't have any evil intentions. I just need a little stimulation, that's all. Tang Ying's voice began to tremble. What favor? Chen Guang slowly raised his empty hand and pointed it at Tang Ying's chest. Give me a little stimulation. As he said that, he suddenly covered Tang Ying's chest with his big hand and grabbed it forcefully. Previously at Jingxi's house, the second time, he didn't really feel the ecstasy as he was scared out of his wits. Now that the dust had settled and his hand was grabbing Tang Ying's perky breasts, the stimulation caused an immediate reaction. Chapter 426. Tang Ying was about to reprimand him for his sudden attack when she saw him suddenly jump back a step and pull down his trousers with one hand. The plywood was placed in front of him, blocking Tang Ying's gaze. Don't. Tang Ying finally guessed what he was going to do. Chen Guang smiled confidently. No, really don't worry. This is my ability. Please call me a psychic. Come. Witness the miracle of human history. In front of Tang Ying, Chen Guang didn't have any psychological barriers. He even felt that this kind-hearted lady doctor was going against him in this aspect. So he unleashed his power. The strongest pile driver that had experienced 99,999 trials in the cup world was unleashed. Tang Ying covered her eyes in panic. This guy was crazy. Did he want to forcefully break the plywood? It hurts. All of a sudden, Chen Guang held onto his crotch. Tang Ying moved her hand away and stared at him. What's wrong? The wood stubble has pierced into the skin. It hurts. 5 minutes later, Tang Ying finally pulled out the small piece of wood with the help of a lamp and tweezers. She then bandaged his wound and knocked him on the head. You're so poor that you can't even show off. Show off? Let's see if you still want to die. Chen Guang looked like he was about to cry. I thought the mattress could break and the plank would be fine, but I really didn't consider the wood stubble. Sigh, no matter what, it seems that you've really mutated. Tang Ying picked up the broken plywood. I really didn't expect it. Scary, really scary. Chen Guang put on his trousers and looked back at her. What should I do for the rest of my life? Don't ask me. I can't do anything about it. Anyway, I don't have the heart to go to Wu Tong and gossip about you. But if Wu Tong finds out about you and Jingxi, don't expect me to help you ask her for mercy. I have no right to care about you and teacher Zhua. As for you and sister Wu Tong, as a good sister, I can't do anything about it either. What kind of sin have you committed? Anyway, good luck to you. You're the main culprit. Speaking of which, my blood is boiling again. I want to kill someone again. Chen Guang chuckled. Tang Ying stepped on his foot for the third time. She glared at him with coquettish eyes. As if it's not enough for you to mess with your counselor, how dare you try to mess with me? Do you think I won't cut it off while you're asleep? As you know, I'm very good at surgery. I guarantee that it'll be painless. Once you wake up, you'll be in peace. I won't dare. Chen Guang broke into a run and returned to the ward. He obediently moved out the spring bed and slept until dawn. Before he fell asleep, he was also puzzled. He did not know how other boys felt after their first time in their lives, but why did it feel so strange when it happened to him? There was no sense of transformation at all. It was all the fault of the world in a cup. I've just experienced the joys of human relationships, and you want me to become a super pile driver? What an animal! Before he fell asleep, he silently looked at Jingxi's bed. When will Xiao Cici fully recover? Next time, I'll take a rope and tie my waist to the board. That should be able to reduce the impact, right? In the middle of the night, a loud noise came from the ward. Chen Guang crawled up from the ground, his face covered in dirt. What the hell? What the hell? What just happened? He first looked at his hand, then at the huge tent on his crotch. He instantly understood. It was the same familiar rhythm from before. It was supposed to be a dream without a trace, But this time, the Qilin's arm collided with the diamond drill. The ultra-strong vibration of the same frequency shook off the screws on the spring bed, and the bed fell apart. Zhuo Jingxi stretched out her body from the bed in a daze. The other patients also panicked and turned on the lights to see what was going on. It was as if there was an earthquake. The nurse on patrol rushed in, as if the whole building was alarmed. Facing the nurse's questioning gaze, Chen Guang was the first to complain. "The quality of your bed is terrible." The next morning, after accompanying Zhuo Jingxi to the OB/GYN department for a checkup, and after confirming that there were no sequelae, Chen Guang finally dragged Zhuo Jingxi home. He could not forget the way the OB/GYN auntie looked at him and what she said. "Young man, don't be like this. Treat your wife better. You're really too shy." The auntie sounded like she wanted to lecture Chen Guang, but in the end, she could not bring herself to say it. Instead, she turned to Zhuo Jingxi and said, "It's okay for you young people to have a deep relationship, but you really have to take care of your health. Xiao Tang specifically asked me this morning, and I don't have any good ideas for you too. I've thought about it, and I only have one suggestion. Xiao Zhuo, you have to exercise more. Yes, exercise more, or else you'll have to come again next time." Zhuo Jingxi was so embarrassed that she could not even lift her head. Chen Guang was equally embarrassed, but he still plucked up his courage and sniffed, "Auntie, when can we do it again?" The doctor poked at the words on the medical record and said, "I suggest that you don't have sex within a month." "Within a month? I used a red pen to frame it for you, so you should take a look at it yourself. Women have to be taken care of. Although there is a saying that there is no land that is plowed, only cows that die of exhaustion, Xiao Chen and Xiao Zhuo's situation is different." Chen Guang and Zhuo Jingxi quickly ran away after being lectured by the doctor. The two of them sat at home and stared at each other for a long time. Fan Lingshan, who was beside them, also stared at the two of them. "Brother, you do." Fan Lingshan was young after all, and too curious. Before Chen Guang could speak, Zhuo Jingxi smiled and patted Fan Lingshan's head. "Lingshan, you're still young, don't ask so many questions. Your brother and I are fine. All right, I still have to go to the lab in the afternoon. There have been too many things recently, and I was supposed to send out the thesis last week. If I don't hurry up, it will be delayed until next month." After Zhuo Jingxi finished speaking, she propped herself up and turned to Fan Lingshan. "Lingshan, haven't you been quite interested in the laboratory recently? Come with me." Before the two of them left, Zhuo Jingxi let Fan Lingshan into the elevator first, then turned back to look at Chen Guang and said again, "Anyway, no matter what you do, no matter what you plan to do next, you have to remember that you're not alone anymore. You have to think about your parents and me, and don't do anything stupid. I can't keep an eye on you 24/7, and I can't either. Wait for me for a month." After saying that, she left, leaving Chen Guang alone in the room, feeling depressed. On the internet, discussions about Wang Ren were still prevalent, but gradually, people lost their initial enthusiasm. The topics on the homepage of the major websites were also taken down, and no one knew if these sections were removed or moved to a corner. The fake reviewers that Chen Guang had spent a lot of money to hire were also threatened and suppressed by the mysterious relevant departments after working crazily for a few days. Fortunately, the servers and registration locations of these fake reviewers were all overseas, but many of their ports were blocked, and some of the core staff in the country were also threatened. The root cause of the matter was that Chen Guang had not been able to send Wang Ren to the public prosecutor's stand when the matter was at its peak, giving Su Lijing a chance to breathe. Chen Guang knew that if he really let this matter die down, what awaited him, Zhuo Jingxi, and the others was very likely to be Su Lijing's continuous revenge. Even though he had the death exemption token given to him by Jin Shiyue, no matter how he thought about it, he still felt uncomfortable. Was this really the only way? Why don't I just throw caution to the wind and reveal my true face? Let the world know that I, Chen Guang, am an omnipotent Superman, and personally go up against Su Lijing's influence? Before Jin Shiyue posted those 2 Weibo posts, this might have been a good idea, but now, no matter how much courage he had, he really didn't dare to stand out like this. Looking at the comments of the crazy fans under Jin Shiyue's Weibo, some of them said things that even made Chen Guang's hair stand on end. They even said things like bringing gasoline with them and dying together with that Chen guy. It was not impossible for something like this to happen to a fanatical fan. But I can't accept it. Right now, the heavy bomb in his hands was the last video of the young nurse that had not been released. It was different from the video of the boy being beaten up. At that time, the boy was in trouble, and there were many accomplices around Wang Lin. They all said that the law did not punish the masses. On the other hand, the boy did not die on the spot, and there was someone who could take the blame. His family had also reached an understanding with Su Lijing, so this heavy evidence was basically useless. If it was Qin Guang's own idea, of course, he would throw it out in one go. In that video, Wang Lin's ugliness and madness were completely exposed. The nurse was ravaged for more than 10 minutes, and during that period, there were many scenes of abuse that made people feel adrenaline rush to their heads. The scale was so large that it was like in Japanese sadomasochistic film. When Qin Guang watched it, he did not have the slightest desire, only anger that was left. Because he knew that this was not a movie, but reality. Unfortunately, the nurse still refused to stand out. She couldn't blame anyone for this, since it was the darkest stain in her life. She couldn't face her painful past, nor did she want to recall it. She chose to cherish her current life and family, and Qin Guang had no reason to blame her. Qin Guang stood in front of the car window and looked at his Phaeton. Thinking of the iron box in the trunk, he felt very disappointed. Did he really have to give up? Suddenly his phone rang. He picked it up and saw that it was Guoming calling. "Uncle Guo, what's the progress? Is there any law firm willing to accept the offer?" Chen Guang quickly asked as soon as he picked up the call. Guoming had been running around for the past 2 days. Unexpectedly, Guoming's voice sounded particularly panicked. "It's not like this. Chen Guang, I am now in the women's toilet next to the airport's second exit hall. Come here quickly. It's urgent." In the women's toilet? Chen Guang did not react immediately. Chapter 427. Guoming continued, "It's hard to explain in a few words. Anyway, Nurse Leng is here by plane. She's badly injured and there are people looking for her everywhere. If you don't hurry over, I'm afraid you won't be able to see me and Nurse Leng tomorrow." The Nurse Leng that Guoming was talking about was the tragic victim. What? Chen Guang turned around and walked out the door without hesitation. "Uncle Guo, don't worry. Hide well and wait for me." It took Chen Guang less than 20 minutes to get to the airport. After all, the airport was very close to Gokyo University. As soon as he got out of the car, he felt that the atmosphere was a little strange. There were many passengers coming and going at exit 2, but there were a few suspicious men who looked like they were waiting for passengers. Chen Guang could be considered a martial artist now, and his hands were stained with blood. From these men, he could vaguely sense a trace of the same kind of aura. For example, a man was leaning against the guardrail, reading a newspaper out of boredom. However, the veins on the back of his hand were bulging. Of course, it didn't take much strength to pinch a newspaper. The thick veins could only mean that this person trained a lot. There was another man leaning against the wall not far from the door, talking on the phone with someone with a smile on his face. However, he kept glancing at the door from time to time. The man was smiling when he was talking on the phone, but there was not the slightest hint of a smile in his eyes. There was also something fishy going on. However, what truly exposed their tracks in Chen Guang's eyes was the moment he appeared here. Although these people had hidden themselves very well, they had clearly pretended to look at his car plate number from beginning to end. They know me. They also know my car. They are Su Lijing's people. Assassins. Thinking back to what Guoming said on the phone, although Chen Guang didn't see Nurse Leng, he could vaguely guess what happened. Su Lijing made a mistake. He made a move on Nurse Leng's family. His aggressive and relentless pursuit on the internet had finally caused Su Lijing to lose his composure. Although his counterattack had easily nullified many of his previous attacks, and even caused the victim's family to shirk responsibility at the last minute, it could be considered as taking drastic measures. However, he was also worried about Nurse Leng. His counterattack was too forceful, But Nurse Lung was still alive and came to the 5 capital. This was his biggest flaw. The blood in Qin Guang's heart, which had gradually cooled down, began to heat up again. This was probably his last chance. No matter what, he had to get them first. Since he had been recognized, Qin Guang simply swaggered directly into the airport lobby. The people guarding the door did not follow him inside. Their companions were still inside. Of course, they did not know that they had been exposed. These people did know Qin Guang, and they also knew that he was a student at Gokyo University. Perhaps he had some background and connections. Their employer had also made it very clear that they should try not to have a direct conflict with Qin Guang. Even if they could not avoid it, they should not harm his life. They did not know that the Qin Guang who appeared here was not only a student, but also the second mate of a pirate at sea for 20 years. He had participated in countless battles, and even in the real world, he had fiercely fought with international criminals who were more vicious than them. On the surface, Qin Guang could deal with Sergio and the others with his bare hands. On the surface, it seemed that he was lucky and used the heavenly Holy Grail well, giving them a taste of their own medicine. However, the more important reason was that Qin Guang had rich combat experience and was calm and sharp enough in the face of danger. He was a student, but he was also an executioner who made many ferocious pirates tremble in fear at the sound of his name. It was just that after leaving the Sea of Moments, he gradually hid the blood in his body in the peaceful real world. Qin Guang did not directly go to the women's toilet where Guoming was hiding. Instead, he wandered around in boredom. His actions seemed useless, but he was constantly probing for possible enemies in the lobby. These people who were hired by Su Lijing knew Qin Guang, which became their weakness. When a person looked at someone they knew and someone they did not know, there would be differences in the way they looked and the minute movements of their body. Even if these people hidden in the crowd were subconsciously hiding their abnormalities, the more they tried to hide, the easier it was for Qin Guang to see through their identities. About 15 minutes later, Qin Guang saw through all the suspicious people in the lobby. He was sure of 2 things. First, there were 3 people loitering in the hall and 4 people outside the door. There were 7 people in total, which was the capacity of a 7-seater MPV. If he guessed correctly, their car should be the Buick MPV parked 3 spaces away from his Phaeton. Second, they should not have colluded with the airport's security system, so they had to go through the scanner when they entered the door. They should not have brought firearms with them. Suddenly, Qin Guang's phone rang again. He picked it up and saw that it was a text message from Guoming. "Where are you? How much longer? We've been in the toilet cubicle for too long. The airport staff are starting to get suspicious. Someone just saw my shoes from below. We can't hide any longer." Qin Guang looked up and saw a female airport staff walking out of the toilet door where Guoming and Nurse Lung were hiding. She waved at them, and 3 or 4 other female staff walked over quickly. The other 3 people wandering in the lobby also noticed the abnormality. They no longer paid attention to Qin Guang, but moved in the direction of the toilet. There was no time to hesitate. Seeing that he could not hide anymore, Qin Guang simply ran in the lobby. He did not care about shocking the public and rushed straight to the women's toilet. Qin Guang's sudden outburst made those suspicious people who wanted to quietly approach the toilet unable to react. When they wanted to speed up, Qin Guang had already rushed to the door of the women's toilet. The airport staff were shocked by Qin Guang's movement. They had received a report from the public that there was a pervert hiding in the women's toilet. They were planning to arrest him. Could it be that the pervert secretly had an accomplice? "Young man, what are you doing?" "This is the women's toilet." One of the strong airport policewomen opened her arms to stop Qin Guang. Qin Guang only said, "I'm sorry, the situation is urgent. I will apologize another day." After that, Qin Guang reached out and grabbed the policewoman's outstretched hand. He then pulled her to the side and rushed into the women's toilet. When he pushed the door open, the people who were waiting in line to go to the toilet suddenly screamed. Qin Guang covered his eyes and walked forward. He said, "Everyone, don't panic. I'm sorry, I'm not a hooligan. I have an urgent matter." "If it's an urgent matter, go to the men's toilet." A courageous female comrade with a strong sense of justice pulled up her pants. She did not even fasten her belt. She picked up the mop in the sink and was about to hit him. Stop it. This is a case. Qin Guang panicked. He slapped the mop with the back of his hand. The power of the Qilin arm was terrifying. The mop was immediately knocked out of his hand and hit the door of a cubicle. The quality of the cubicle's door lock was obviously not good. After being hit by the mop, it opened directly. Chen Guang looked to the side and saw an 18 or 19-year-old girl sitting on the toilet bowl with her legs open. Her lower body was wide open and water was flowing out. He only glanced at it from the corner of his eye and knew that it was a serious matter. He quickly covered his head and rushed to the third cubicle where Guoming and Nurse Lung were hiding. He only muttered in his heart, F***CK, I won't be able to clear my name even if I jump into the Yellow River. The girl was shocked for about 2 seconds. Then she began to scream at the top of her lungs. Hooligan. Forget it. It doesn't seem right to say that I didn't see anything. But it doesn't seem right to say that I saw something I shouldn't have. Anyway, I did a good deed and left my name. Chen Guang knocked on the cubicle door. Uncle Gua, you guys come out first. We need to leave quickly. Chen Guang turned his head and looked at the girl who was embarrassed, angry, and wanted to fight him but did not dare to do so. He put his hands together and apologized. This classmate, I didn't see anything just now. I really didn't see anything. Ladies and aunties, I really didn't come in here to be a hooligan. This is a serious matter for me. Seeing that some people had started to take out their phones, Chen Guang quickly pulled up his collar to cover his face. He shouted in a hooligan tone, if you guys are really angry, come to my school and beat me up. What I'm doing right now is a matter of life and death. I, by Fan, will never change my name or my surname. I'll bear the consequences even if it's a big crime. You guys can come and find trouble with me in the future. But please don't give me more trouble now. Please understand me. Unless it's absolutely necessary, I, the good student of Gokyo University by Fan, will not be so shameless as to barge into the women's toilet. All of this took a long time to describe, but in fact, it only took dozens of seconds. The people in the toilet retreated one after another, and the airport policewoman and 2 male police officers followed them in. The people who were still in the women's toilet were the girl who was at a loss, the lady who was waving the mop, and a fashionable white-collared worker who was taking pictures with his phone. By Fan from Gokyo University? Forget it. Don't be a hooligan here. Whatever you want, talk to us at the airport police station. Seeing that things were getting out of hand, the cubicle door that was hiding Guoming and Nurse Lung finally opened. The first to walk out was not Guoming, but Nurse Lung. Chen Guang turned to look at Nurse Lung and was stunned. What the hell is going on? Chen Guang had seen Nurse Lung before, whether it was her miserable state in the video, her youthful and gorgeous work photos when she was working in school, or the photos of her happy life when she was living in Denghai. Even though she was now a wife and had a 3-year-old son, according to Guoming's description, she should still be a beautiful and hot mother. When she was in school, she could be called a flower in the school hospital, beautiful and moving. Otherwise, Wang Run would not have acted like a beast in front of her. But look at her now. Chapter 428. Half of her head was wrapped in a thick gauze, covering one of her eyes. There were still bloodstains on her forehead, and there was a horrible wound on her face. One could even see the centipede-like thread that had just been sewn on it. She squinted her eyes and looked at Chen Guang with a lifeless gaze. She was only wearing a thin white singlet, and thick bandages extended from her waist up, wrapping around her shoulders. One of her hands was holding onto a walking stick, and half of her right leg under the walking stick was gone. The bandages were densely covered in blood. The moment she saw Chen Guang, a burning light flashed in her eyes. They were filled with ecstasy and excitement. You're finally here to pick us up. She clenched the cane in her hand, and her other hand subconsciously reached out to shake Chen Guang's hand. When it was in mid-air, she sheepishly retracted her hand. I'm sorry, I don't have this hand anymore. Nurse Lung's current tragic state not only scared Qin Guang, but also the excited women in the private room. They covered their mouths, and the sensitive little girl's eyes reddened. Tragic, this is really tragic. The airport police officers standing at the door were also silent. What kind of fate did this woman suffer to appear in the airport in such a state? I'm sorry, I just had my arm amputated the day before yesterday. I look a little scary now. Nurse Ling was calmer than everyone else. She did not avoid the others but looked straight at Qin Guang. I thought your surname was Qin, but I didn't expect you to be Mr. Bai. Is Mr. Chen waiting for us outside? Before Nurse Lung could finish her words, her expression changed again. She said to Gua Ming next to her, Director Gua, help me open the bag. The wound on my left hand is bleeding again. Gua Ming, who had been standing behind her, hurriedly opened the bag and placed it in front of Nurse Lung. Under everyone's confused and frightened gazes, she leaned against the wall and used her remaining right hand to remove the bandage on her left hand, revealing her left hand without a palm and only half a wrist. She then took out the medicinal powder inside and sprinkled it on the wound on her wrist to slightly stop the bleeding. Then she swiftly wrapped the bandage again. From the beginning to the end, she did not blink once, nor did she frown once. She only used her right hand, and her movements were swift and professional. Miss Ling, actually, you don't need to be in such a hurry to come here. What's going on? You should recuperate first. Chen Guang couldn't help but ask while Nurse Lung was bandaging her wound. She raised her eyes slightly, and there was endless self-blame and pain in her eyes. No, actually, I should have come here a long time ago. This is also my last chance. If I can't leave Denghai this time, I'm afraid I'll have to go down to accompany my husband and son. The crowd and the airport police officers who were listening and watching the situation had their eyelids twitching wildly. What exactly happened that made this woman, who had just experienced a catastrophe and had an amputated hand and foot, grit her teeth and fly from Denghai to Wujing? What a frightening willpower it took. We seem to have gotten ourselves involved in some serious matter. Nurse Ling had just finished bandaging when the airport police chief arrived late. Until now, the 3 people outside had not moved. There were many people in this place, and they were also somewhat afraid. The airport police chief had met Qin Guang once before, when they were dealing with the international bandits from Shurjiao. Chen Guang did not recognize him, but he recognized Qin Guang. He knew that this was Wu Shan's favorite, so he took the initiative to step forward and help to contact 120 to take Nurse Ling to the hospital. Chen Guang thought for a while and decided not to let Nurse Ling out of his sight. He declined the chief's good intentions and planned to take her directly to Wujing City Hospital. Now he trusted that place. Nurse Ling's face was extremely pale. She was also full of vigilance. She could not trust anyone, especially the police. She also gritted her teeth and refused to accept the arrangements of the airport police station. Chen Guang sent the naked girl out of the women's restroom and decisively sold Bai Nyangzi's name and phone number. Student, I'm sorry for causing you trouble. My name is Bai Fan. This is my phone number. If you're angry later, you can call me to scold me. It's okay, you can scold me until you're appeased. I can swear to God that I really didn't see anything just now. The girl was a little unwilling, but she was touched by his sincere look. You really didn't see anything? I swear. If I saw something I shouldn't have seen, I'll dig out my own eyes and break my own arms. All right, I believe you. The girl finally left. The chief asked the white-collared woman who took the video to delete the video before letting her go. Although he did not know the situation, it seemed to be a serious matter. The chief was also very professional. At this time, only the airport chief, Qin Guang, Gua Ming, and Nurse Ling were left in the women's restroom. Little Qin, do you really not need me to ask someone to send you? The airport chief led a large group of airport police officers and followed Qin Guang and the others to the exit. The 7 suspicious people hired by Su Lijing did not make any movements from beginning to end. Obviously, they were also afraid of this situation. Chen Guang pretended to be indifferent. Thank you for your kindness, but this is my personal matter. How can I trouble you? All right. Seeing that he insisted, the chief had no other choice. Guoming was a little tempted. He wanted to discuss further, but he saw Chen Guang give him a look. Only then did he know that there was a deeper meaning to his decision, so he did not say anything more. As soon as they got in the car and locked the door, Guoming said hurriedly, "Chen Guang, where are we going now?" However, Chen Guang wasn't in a rush to start the car. Instead, he looked out of the window and saw the airport's director waving at him with a group of people. However, the 7 suspicious individuals were nowhere to be seen. Needless to say, they must have boarded the vehicle. "Don't rush. Let's talk as we walk. I need to figure out the situation first." Chen Guang was calm enough. Nurse Lung, who was sitting in the front passenger seat, was anxious. "But someone is looking for me outside. They have their eyes on me." Chen Guang opened the antibiotic bottle for her and slowly unscrewed the water bottle for her. "Ms. Lung, don't be anxious. Since you're here, I won't let anything happen to you." "What the hell happened? Is it convenient for you to tell me? Let's talk as we walk, okay?" Although Nurse Leng was still a little afraid, she seemed to have no other choice but to trust Chen Guang. "Sigh, I really regret it. When Director Gua came to me for the first time last week, I should have stood up bravely." Nurse Lung swallowed the medicine and said slowly, "I thought I would be safe and sound by hiding. I didn't expect to end up like this." As for what happened to Lung Qin's family, Chen Guang could only sigh. On his side, due to morality, Lung Qin refused to nod or come out to testify, so he would not expose Lung Qin's video. But Su Lijing did not think so. When he heard from Wang Ren how important the video was, he made the most decisive decision so far. Of course, he had made many mistakes for Wang Ren in his life. Now that Chen Guang wanted to fight to the death with him, Su Lijing also thought that he could not always be so gentle. He should show some determination in some areas. He could kill the chicken to warn the monkey, destroy the corpse and destroy the evidence, and beat Chen Guang, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Anyway, Nurse Ling's family was just a small fry, wasn't it? Unfortunately, the people in Denghai did not do their job well and let Nurse Lung survive. Of course, it could also be that she was too tough. The car was completely deformed, but she was still lucky to survive. The night before yesterday, my husband and I took our son home from Shaonyangong. Our house is in Zhanghe town in the suburbs of Denghai. When we were almost home, we stopped in front of the zebra crossing to wait for the traffic light. A bulldozer crashed into us from behind like crazy. Our car was completely deformed. When I woke up, I was already lying on the hospital bed without an arm and a leg. My husband and son were already in the morgue. That bulldozer belonged to a transportation company. The driver ran away immediately. I heard that he was driving without a license, so we couldn't find him at all. My family called the police and filed a case, but the CEO of the transportation company said that he didn't know the driver at all. He said that the driver was just a temporary replacement. He also said that the driver drove like this in the middle of the night and didn't care about the traffic lights at night. He also said that he was willing to pay for such a big incident. He was willing to take responsibility, and he was willing to do everything he could to cooperate with the investigation. He took out 5 million yuan at that time. He said that if we were not satisfied, he could add more. But what was the use of that? What was the point of that? Even if we really caught the driver, could we shoot him? Could we shoot the CEO of the transportation company? I don't want money at all. I just want revenge. Last night, I wanted to watch the surveillance, but they wouldn't let me. I felt that something wasn't right, so I kept thinking about it in my head. Then I realized that we were waiting for the traffic light on the fast lane on the innermost side of the road. The truck didn't even take the same lane as us at the beginning. He purposely changed paths to come here. This wasn't a traffic accident caused by running a red light. This was a murder under the guise of a traffic accident. Chapter 429. As Lung Qin spoke, her body trembled violently. Her originally bloodless face became even paler. Her right fingernails dug deep into her flesh as she gritted her teeth. At first, I wasn't sure. Until last night, A male nurse that I had never seen before suddenly came to change the infusion bottle for me. If I wasn't a medical student and worked in the hospital, I would have recognized him and realized that the color of the medicine wasn't right. I almost died. Later, when I shouted for help, the other people in the hospital came. The male nurse ran out of sight. I asked my colleagues who the man was, but none of them could answer. They didn't know him. So, I was sure that Su Li was trying to silence me. So, early this morning, I secretly begged my classmates in the hospital to make a fake discharge certificate for me. Then, I bought a plane ticket and came to Wujing alone. I was going to look for Director Guo myself, but when I got off the plane, I heard from my classmates that a group of doctors suddenly came this morning and said that they wanted to transfer me to another hospital. Seeing that I wasn't there, they left without saying anything. I knew that something was wrong, so I quickly hid in the women's toilet after I got off the plane. Later, Director Guo came, but by that time, he had already noticed that there were a lot of sneaky people outside. He had no choice but to call Mr. Chen over. After listening to Leng Qin, Chen Guang could only squeeze out one sentence: "My condolences." Leng Qin wiped her tears. "There's nothing to be sad about. I've already shed all the tears and blood that I should have shed. All I want now is revenge. Mr. Chen, I beg you. Don't beg me, this is what I've always wanted to do, Sai. It's all my fault. If I hadn't been so lucky, if I had cooperated with you to sue Wang Ren, this wouldn't have happened. This is all retribution." As Leng Qin spoke, her remaining eye turned red again. But before Chen Guang and Guo Ming could persuade her, she waved her hand. "Forget it, what's the use of regretting? I have to be strong. Before I kill Wang and Su, I can't shed another tear. I have nothing now. My husband is dead, and my son is dead. All I have left is a debt of blood for blood." Leng Qin's strength was beyond imagination. Of course, this was the strength that came from the grief of losing everything. It was this kind of strength that allowed her to escape from the Sea of Ascension alone after realizing that something was wrong. Although he did not see it with his own eyes, Chen Guang could roughly imagine the state of mind of a crippled and weak woman like her when she escaped in a situation where danger lurked in every corner. He could imagine how terrified and desperate she must have been. She was missing a hand, a broken leg, and a blind eye. It had only been 3 days since the amputation. She should have been lying on the hospital bed, unable to move. Her body was in constant pain, and there was a risk of infection at any time. After severe blood loss, she should have been dizzy and could collapse at any time. However, she managed to survive and escape. Her face was pale, but her thoughts were clear. Only unforgettable hatred could give her such strong willpower. She had luckily escaped from the crushed car and struggled to stand up again from hell. Her whole body was burning with the flame of revenge. From a gentle and weak woman, she had become an armored warrior. With endless anger, she had come to the 5 capital. She was the biggest flaw that Su Lijing had sold to him. He was not allowed to kill Wang Ren, and he could not bring Wang Ren to court using conventional methods. Before Leng Qin's accident, Chen Guang was indeed at his wit's end. However, after receiving Leng Qin, Chen Guang finally found a breakthrough. Chen Guang's breathing gradually quickened. He turned to look at Leng Qin. "I will help you." Leng Qin turned to look at the side of Chen Guang's face. The centipede-like wound was slightly curved. She also turned her face to look straight ahead. "Thank you for giving me this opportunity." Her tone was flat. Her eyes were slightly closed, and her spirit was a little dispirited. She was no longer the poor woman who had been filmed being abused, nor was she a happy housewife. Even if she was physically disabled, her spirit was unprecedentedly strong. After a long silence, Chen Guang glanced at the rearview mirror. The Buick MPV was still following behind the Phaeton. "Chen Guang, where are we going? Aren't we going straight to the city?" Guoming asked. Chen Guang shook his head. "Not going to the city first." After that, he suddenly stepped on the accelerator and sped up, rushing straight to the Fengquan Mountain racetrack. "What now?" "Chen seems to have found out that we are following him," one of the people in the Buick behind said. The middle-aged man sitting in the passenger seat pondered for a moment. "It's okay. Although I didn't expect him to come, it doesn't matter. Just follow him." When he stops, we will get out and grab him. He won't drive directly into the police station, right? That's even better. Don't talk. I'll call President Xiang to communicate. The middle-aged man made a gesture to keep quiet. The phone was connected. The middle-aged man said in a muffled voice, President Xiang, there was an accident. That woman named Lung hid as soon as she got off the plane. Chen Guang found her before us, and now he has taken her to his car. It's okay. You are following him closely now, right? The man on the other side of the phone did not have any emotional fluctuations because of the news. The middle-aged man nodded. Yes, we have been following him, but Chen Guang also knows that he is being watched by us. Let's follow the original plan. Remember what I said before. Nothing can happen to Chen Guang. President Xiang ordered and hung up the phone. The man with the surname Xiang turned around and looked at Su Lijing standing behind him. He bowed slightly and explained the situation over there clearly. Chen Guang is really haunting me. Fortunately, I was prepared. Otherwise, if he really had Lung Qin in his hands, he would definitely be a big problem for me. By the way, are the people you sent strong enough? Don't think that Chen Guang is just a student. He is very skilled. You have seen the 2 guards beside me, right? According to them, I am afraid that their former captain, Wang Lin, is no match for Chen Guang in terms of martial arts. Su Lijing pondered. President Xiang said confidently, Teacher Su, you worry too much. I know Wang Lin. She is just a person with an undeserved reputation. But my men are real masters who have come back from the Middle East. They have been through hundreds of battles. None of them is worse than Wang Lin. Su Lijing nodded with satisfaction. That's good. By the way, tell them that although Chen Guang can't be killed or disabled, they can't let him go easily. If it weren't for Jin Shiyue, forget it. You inform them first. Nodding his head, Chairman Xiang replied, I understand. But I feel that you're overthinking it. Who is Jin Shiyue and Chen Guang? Can they last long? After 2 years, they might not have that relationship anymore. It won't be too late for us to settle the score then, right? Su Lijing was quite pleased with this. Little Xiang, you are smart. President Xiang also smiled. It's all thanks to your good teaching. On the other side, Chen Guang stepped on the brakes. He looked at the bottomless cliff beside the mountain road and nodded slightly. This should be the place. Guoming turned his head and looked at the Buick MPV that had stopped behind him in horror. Chen Guang, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Lung Qin was also frightened. She thought that Chen Guang had other reasons for refusing the airport police escort, but now he had parked his car here? Chen Guang smiled. Don't worry about anything. Just sit in the car. Don't be nervous. I deliberately led them here. After all, some things are not easy to do in a crowded place. I am familiar with this place, and there won't be any outsiders here at this time. After he finished speaking, he took out a large box from the storage box in front of the passenger seat. He opened the box and placed the stack of darts inside into his hand. He then put them into his trouser pocket, got out of the car, and locked the door. What is Chen thinking? He should know that we are here to look for Lung Qin. What does he mean? He wants to take us down alone? Although I think you are joking, maybe he really has the confidence. You see, he is not small and he looks like he can really fight. Your joke is not funny at all. The 7 suspicious people muttered as they got out of the car and walked quickly in the direction of the phaeton. The middle-aged man who was walking in front waved his hand halfway and whispered, Although I don't know what he is planning, don't let your guard down. Just take care of him first. But I just called President Xiang, and the higher-ups said that we can only beat Chen Guang until he can't move, but we can't disable him, let alone kill him. That's so annoying. Why doesn't President Xiang allow us to kill him too? Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Anyway, it doesn't matter if we keep him alive. Just remember to strip him clean and burn his car. Don't leave any evidence for him. That's right. What about the other 2? A skinny young man who was playing with a dagger behind the middle-aged man licked his lips coldly. The middle-aged man smiled. This place is beautiful. It is suitable as a burial ground. Boss, you are so literary. The skinny young man twirled the dagger. Say, if we don't knock Chen Guang out, but just tie him up and let him watch us kill that fatty Guar and Leng Qin, will he be so scared that he will pee his pants? Kill? I still want to play with it. A strong man with shoulder-length hair smiled lewdly. You also have a good appetite. Are you interested in a disabled one-eyed woman who is disfigured like that? You don't understand. This is called a specialty. This group of people ridiculed Chen Guang loudly in front of him as they got closer and closer. They were fearless, and it was not a lie. They were President Xiang's most reliable bodyguards. Although they were bodyguards, they had actually helped President Xiang do some shady things. Before today's incident, they had already killed more than 10 people. Now that they had 2 more dead souls, it didn't matter. Chen Guang also walked closer and closer with his hands clasped. He could clearly hear their conversation. Everyone, are you planning to kill people today? Chapter 430. The middle-aged man stood proudly in front of Chen Guang. I'm not interested in talking to you, but I'm in a good mood now, so I can tell you the truth. We're going to kill people, but you're lucky. You won't die. Chen Guang nodded. Oh, I understand. What do you understand? Do you think we're joking? The middle-aged man really couldn't bear to see Chen Guang's calm look at this time. As he spoke, he pulled out a long knife from behind. Do you know how many people have died under my knife? Boy, I'm not one of those hooligans. We're really going to kill people. The skinny young man who was playing with a dagger walked to the front. Boss, your knife is too long. What if you kill the young master? Let me do it. Skinny, you can't use a dagger, let me do it. A strong man who had been standing behind the crowd stepped out with a grim smile. Aren't you ashamed? Other kids are bare-handed. As adults, how can we use knives and guns? I'll put them down, and you guys go and kill the 2 people in the car. It'll save us a lot of trouble. Chen Guang just looked at this group of people who were pretending to be cool, but the smile on his face was getting wider and wider. He went up to the strong man. The others completely ignored him and planned to go directly to the phaeton. In the phaeton, Guoming and Leng Qin were stunned to see this scene. Guoming covered his eyes in despair. What is he going to do? Leng Qin shook her head in pain. I don't know either. Guoming started the car again. I might as well rush out and kill them. Don't. Director Guo. Do you see the short man hiding in the back? He has a gun. Leng Qin, who only had one eye left, was more observant than Guoming. The next moment, the 2 of them saw a scene that they would never forget in their lives. There was still a calm smile on Chen Guang's face. Although his movements were not swift and violent, his fist blasted towards the sturdy man who intended to grab him with both hands. For the first time, the Qilin arm showed its ferociousness and terror, revealing its bloodthirsty side to the world. The brawny man was also smiling wickedly. Then, he felt his chest suddenly shake, and his body, which weighed 200 kilograms, flew a distance of 10 feet, and fell to the ground like a rag. Once he made his move, Chen Guang's movements didn't stop at all. He took a small step back, and the other 6 so-called experts hired by Su Lijing, after a brief moment of panic, instantly became ferocious. They still didn't know that their companion's heart had been punched by Chen Guang. I'm asking you if you're going to kill us because I'm considering if I should spare your lives. I've had many opportunities to be a good person who knows his place, and I've tried to reason with you with my morals. But now that I can't reason with you, I have no choice. Chen Guang took his hand out of his trouser pocket and threw it like lightning. At the same time, 12 darts flew towards the 6 people like poisonous snakes with eyes. The explosive power of the Qilin arm, the precision of the godly dart technique, and each dart seemed to have its own spirit. In the blink of an eye, screams could be heard, mixed with the muffled sound of metal colliding. Chen Guang's darts never missed. Among the 6 people, 4 of them had their throats pierced by 2 darts, one above and one below. The one with the gun was luckier. Only 1 dart was shot at his throat, and the other accurately hit the muzzle he had just pulled out to aim at Chen Guang. The leading middle-aged man was luckier. Chen Guang's 2 darts didn't take his life. Instead, They pierced the meniscus of his knee. Such a terrifying dart force, such an incredible godly technique. The middle-aged man didn't realize what had happened until he knelt on the ground. How could there be someone on Earth who could use darts to this level? He looked up at Chen Guang blankly, and suddenly remembered a person who was also in his information. All-around Superman. You're the all-around Superman. The middle-aged man struggled to support himself on the ground, and looked at Chen Guang blankly. Chen Guang walked closer. It's indeed me. But wasn't the video you posted on the internet just for show? How could this be? The middle-aged man looked around and found that all of his companions were lying in a pool of blood. Only one or two of them were still clutching their throats and groaning, while the others were motionless. Chen Guang took out his phone and pointed it at him. No. This is not a show. You saw it too. My darts are really that powerful. Of course, it's not a show. My darts are meant to kill. But why is it like this? The middle-aged man tried to move his leg, but there was a sharp pain in his knee. The sharp dart had completely pierced through his meniscus and was stuck inside. Chen Guang moved closer and pointed the camera at him. Bro, don't be too sad. Anyway, you guys have killed a lot of people. It's not a loss to die in my hands. It'll be more photogenic. What are you trying to do? The middle-aged man raised his head and looked at Chen Guang in despair. Chen Guang squatted down and pointed the camera at him. Nothing. Let's have a heart-to-heart talk. What are you doing here? Who sent you here? What do you know? Don't even think about getting anything out of my mouth. Just kill me. The middle-aged man roared and retreated. There was a cliff not far away, and he wanted to jump off. What year is it now? There's actually such a thing as a death warrior? How much did Su Lijing give you guys? However, Chen Guang was already prepared for this move. He threw 2 punches out, pushing the 2 darts deeper into his body. Aside from that, Chen Guang even shattered his shoulder blade, not giving him any chance to jump off the cliff. Ha! For someone like me, there's no tomorrow. Do you think I'm afraid of death? Dream on. Don't think that I'm an assassin. I have a family too. The middle-aged man looked at Chen Guang fiercely and was about to bite his tongue to commit suicide. Facing this crazy death warrior, Chen Guang was not anxious at all. He only thought in his heart, Lord Azure, it's time to make a move. Where are the 3 god statues? Are they not enough for you? Azure chuckled. It's not that I can't help you, but I have a condition. Say it. Apart from English, you have to create a statue of a deity for all the world in a cup that you have cultivated so far. Okay. The next moment, the middle-aged man, whose willpower was stronger than a cockroach, collapsed. He confessed. He confessed everything. He faced the camera of Chen Guang's mobile phone and told everything. Xiang's International Group, this company appeared out of thin air in the financial crisis 15 years ago. In just 15 years, it grew into an amazing multinational company with total assets of more than 10 billion. Many people were speculating about the background of this company, but until now, no one had found any clues. They only knew that the chairman of Xiang's International Group, Xiang Guoming, was a ruthless person. Until now, Chen Guang finally knew why this company could always be like a fish in water in the stock market and investment industry. It was because of Su Lijing standing behind Xiang's International Group. The chairman of Xiang's International Group, Xiang Guoming, was Su Lijing's student when he was studying in the US. No wonder Su Lijing was a big shot in the economics world. He didn't do anything illegal when he supported Xiang's International Group. He just shared his own knowledge and information with the company. With the help of Xiang Guoming's ruthless methods, the master and apprentice worked together and stirred up trouble in the financial world for many years, creating the Xiang's International Group today. That was why Xiang Guoming helped Su Lijing so much. Without Su Lijing, he would not be where he is today. Similarly, the two of them were bound by interests. If something happened to Su Lijing, what awaited Xiang Guoming would not be a good end. So, to sum it up, Su Lijing hired assassins. First, he borrowed Xiang Guoming's hand to find a fugitive in Denghai and that transportation company. In the end, he failed and let Leng Qin escape to Beijing. Then, Su Lijing ordered Xiang Guoming to send 7 bodyguards and assassins to help him eliminate him? Qin Guang asked. The middle-aged man answered, yes. I already understand this matter. In addition, how many people have you killed over the years? Who did you kill? Tell me everything in detail. Half an hour later, Qin Guang's 40-minute video finally came to an end. He was not in a hurry to kill the middle-aged man. Instead, he knocked him out with a punch. Okay, this was not a TV series. He only fainted after 3 punches. Guoming and Leng Qin sat in the car from beginning to end. They wanted to get out of the car several times to see what was going on, but Qin Guang did not agree. He only told them to stay put. Uncle Wu, I'm on Fengquan Mountain. He killed 6 people. Qin Guang called Wu Shan and said something shocking. An hour later, Wu Shan personally rushed over with dozens of his trusted subordinates, Shui Lin and his special forces team. When he saw the corpses on the peak of Fengquan Mountain, Wu Shan's eyes almost popped out. When Wu Tong went to Beijing, she told me to help her take care of you. You made such a big mess for me. What do you want me to do? Wu Shan was burning with anxiety. His hands trembled as he did not know how to blame Qin Guang. 6 lives. What do you want me to do? Wu Shan could not help but panic. After the incident with Shurjiu, he knew that Qin Guang's ability was indeed extremely dangerous. Fortunately, he had a good character and his relationship with Wu Tong, so Wu Shan had never worried that Qin Guang would do something impulsive. Previously, he had always appeared very mature and steady, but suddenly, 6 lives were lost. Was he trying to scare someone to death? Qin Guang did not respond to Wu Shan's words. He only pulled him aside and planned to show Wu Shan the video he had just taken. Wu Shan waved his hand fiercely. I won't see it. Even if you want to deal with Su Lijing, you can't kill people like this. You can't treat human lives like grass. On the other side, his confidant ran over with a face full of joy. Wu Ting. Good news. Good news. Wu Shan glared at him. What good news? Good news my ass. The confidant took out a tablet and pulled up the internal files. He pointed at the 6 corpses that were placed together and said one by one, this is Han Yong, an A-level wanted criminal. In 2003, he cruelly killed Ike Raymond's family of 7 in Wulin County of Blue Sea Province. This strong man is called Dari Achi, an A-level wanted criminal. In 2007, Wu Ting, these 7 people are all fugitives. Great credit. Brother Qin Guang has done a great job. Wu Shan's confidant was so excited that his face was glowing. Chapter 431. Wu Shan turned to look at Qin Guang in astonishment. You knew before you took action? Qin Guang shrugged. I didn't know, but they were hired by Su Lijing to kill me. I'm not Buddha. I can't just let them kill me, can I? I don't want to die, so I let them die. Moreover, they did show off their past achievements to me before I took action. I saw that they wanted to die, and it was worth it, so I showed them mercy. Alright, Uncle Wu, you should take a look at this video. It seems like their crimes aren't limited to what's written in your files. After a long time, Wu Shan finished watching the video. His breathing became heavy. Hiring assassins and harboring felons. This Xiang Guoming is up to something big. Qin Guang nodded. Is this evidence enough? Look, I left a living person for you. He pointed at the middle-aged man who had fainted on the ground. Good job. Give me the phone. I need to save this video when I get back. Wu Shan tried to put Qin Guang's phone in his pocket. However, Qin Guang snatched it back. No need. Uncle Wu, you can go back and download it yourself. Wu Shan stared at him. What do you mean? Qin Guang grinned again. I've uploaded it. I think Almighty Superman has already posted it on Weibo. It should be easy to download. Wu Shan's eyes widened as he stared at Qin Guang. It was as if he had seen something terrifying. Crazy. He's really crazy. For Wu Shan to be able to sit in this position at such a young age, he was tenacious and calm. He rarely lost his composure, but he had not been able to calm down since he received Qin Guang's call. Do you know what you're doing? Do you know what kind of impact this will have? Have you ever thought about it? Wu Shan roared. Chen Guang turned to look at him. He pondered for a long time. I've thought about it. I know. Then why didn't you tell me before posting it online? Wu Shan said angrily. Because I know that if I tell you, you will stop me. Since I know you'll stop me, and I'm determined to post it myself, why would I bother to inform you in advance? Chen Guang was still very calm. These are all the truth. Since it is the truth, even if it is very ugly, I still want it to shine in the light. But Wu Shan wanted to say something more, but when he looked at Chen Guang, he found that the latter's eyes were filled with determination, so he couldn't say anything more. Chen Guang had already expressed his intentions clearly. He was tired of the methods used in the government, and he didn't want to beat around the bush anymore. He wanted to get straight to the point and cut the Gordian knot. On second thought, although he didn't know where Chen Guang learned this ability, could a normal person be as calm as Chen Guang after killing a few people? Impossible. Although the people he killed were all people who deserved to die, they were all living people. This was not the first time. Including the last time, this was already the second time. Don't be fooled by this kid's cheerful face, but that was because he didn't really go crazy. It was fine if he didn't act, but once he did, he would kill a few people. Wu Shan calmed down and thought about it carefully. When he looked at Chen Guang again, he felt that something was wrong. Kid, don't you feel bad? What about the 6 living people? Wu Shan tried to persuade Chen Guang. As the leader of the political and legal circles in Dechuan province, he was also in a difficult position when he saw Chen Guang embarking on this path. Chen Guang shook his head. I don't feel bad, I don't feel anything. Gus. Wu Shan hissed and sucked in a breath of cold air. Uncle Wu, don't look at me like that. I'm not a homicidal maniac. If I killed people, of course I would feel bad, but do you think they are human? If you ask me if I feel bad, why don't you ask them? Besides, they wanted my life first. It's like a lion happily walking on the grassland, eating hot pot and singing. Suddenly, a group of hungry wolves jumped out and wanted to bite me to death. I turned around and killed these wolves. Do I have to set up a monument for them and mourn for them for 3 minutes? But you can't do this. Don't tell me you want to. Wu Shan guessed. Chen Guang smiled and shook his head. You want to talk about Su Lijing and Wang Lin, right? Don't worry, I'm not that impulsive. Besides, killing them would be too easy for them. I have a pretty good idea. It's more ruthless than killing them. What is it? From today onwards, get that almighty Superman to help me with a cereal. Chen Guang laughed. Serialize what? Wu Shan had a bad feeling about this. Chen Guang looked straight at Wu Shan and said word by word, I want a cereal to beat the tiger. From tomorrow onwards, I want to skin Su Lijing and Wang Lin 1 layer at a time. I want to release all the evidence, from the prosecution to the trial, step by step. Wu Shan's eyes widened. I don't agree. Chen Guang lowered his voice. Then I'll have to use my own method. As soon as Chen Guang finished speaking, his fingers suddenly shook and a dart flew out from his fingertip. It hit a sparrow that was flying 50 meters above him. Wu Shan's jaw dropped as he watched the sparrow fall from the cliff. He suddenly understood Chen Guang's intention and attitude. He was clearly threatening him. If he didn't agree, he would kill him. This meant that this young man was going to use his own power to override the law. In this world, Su Lijing and Wang Ren's family were not the only villains. Once Chen Guang started this, and he encountered similar cases in the future, with this young man's strong sense of justice, would he have to continue killing? A thought popped up in Wu Shan's mind. It was simply terrifying. Should I just capture this brat first? But he immediately shook his head and threw the idea away. Whether it was Wu Tong or Jin Shuriwei, who had just caused an uproar in their circle, Wu Shan was doomed to never touch Chen Guang. Not only could he not touch him, he had to protect him. And he had to protect him. Wu Shan also knew that Su Lijing had gotten the Xiang Corporation's people to take action, but his actions were not clean. His fate was already sealed. The only difference was that if the video was suppressed internally, Su Lijing might be punished internally and quietly disappear from the public's view. As for whether he would die or not, it was hard to say. Now that Qin Guang had ruined everyone's stage, the matter couldn't be hidden anymore. Wu Shan thought about it in his heart. If Qin Guang was willing to take the risk, he might as well go crazy with him this time. The greater the risk, the greater the benefit. If he really let Qin Guang kill Su Lijing in public, the benefits would be much greater than in private. Su Lijing's former colleagues, classmates, teachers, or students who would dare to go against the will of the world and risk their own futures to protect him. As the first person to stand out and preside over this matter, even if he were to leave a bad name in the system, it would still be a bad name that would cause people to fear him. It would also allow his position in the Jianghu to rise imperceptibly in his own camp, surpassing the other competitors of the same age and rank as him. After all, even within the same faction, there was a relationship of competition. Although Wu Shan was a key training target, if he wanted to continue to move up, he also had to compete with his own people. At present, there were at least 10 people of the same level as him. If he wanted to stand out from the crowd, he had to show results. Beating a tiger was also a result. Su Lijing's matter was extremely risky, but it also hid endless opportunities. Take a step back and be mediocre, take a step forward and the world will be bright. When he realized that things were inevitable, Wu Shan re-examined the current situation in his heart and suddenly saw the opportunity hidden under the dangerous situation. Wu Shan muttered to himself. He was still not calm enough. Based on his past experience, no matter how much internal strife there was, he had never exposed the bloody matter to the public. The usual domestic practice was to first hide and cover up, then punish, and finally announce the matter at the discretion of the public, or simply not announce it at all. For example, in the past, a famous minister had taken a bribe of 2 million RMB. Of course, this matter had gradually been forgotten. However, the current situation was different from the past. The overall theme of the current environment was to punish corruption. Coupled with the increasing development of information media, many things could not be hidden at all. Therefore, his serial beating of a tiger seemed to be risking the world's condemnation, but in fact, it was secretly complying with the will of the heavens. As long as he was able to protect him, it would become an important weight in his political career after the matter was done. Could it be that this kid had considered this from the beginning, so he deliberately acted first and reported later, knowing that I would definitely not refuse? When Wu Shan looked at Qin Guang again, his gaze had changed. He no longer looked at Qin Guang as if he was looking at an ignorant junior, but a terrifying strategist that could determine victory from 1,000 miles away? Was he pretending to be ignorant of the ways of the world? In fact, he had already seen through everything? Did I underestimate him? Wu Shan clearly knew everything about Qin Guang's past, but he couldn't help but start to doubt himself. Could it be that Su Lijing's worry was just a fluke? Was he really from that old man's family? Even I was deceived by that fake information? But it didn't make sense, His relationship with Chen Guoli and Feng Rong didn't seem fake at all. He did live in Lilai County until he graduated from high school. But then again, if he really came from such an ordinary family, then where did he get his military skills that were more powerful than top special forces soldiers like Shui Lin? According to the trajectory of his life, it couldn't be explained at all. Which planet did this kid come from? Because of Wu Tong, Wu Shan didn't have much time to think about Qin Guang's background, and he didn't think it was necessary. But today, when he had to think about these questions, his mind suddenly went into a dead end. Wu Shan was momentarily at a loss. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.